It's a monolithic matchup in the Pacific View League tonight at Bud Hauser Field in Oxnard, California. As the battle for Gonzales Road is set to commence between the Pacific Tritons, who come in at 6-0, led by 7th-year head coach Mike Moon, and the Oxnard Yellowjacket, led by first-year head coach, but all too familiar, Jaime Marino. And a very, very welcome to the Ventura Orthopedics Game of the Week here on VCStar.com with our terrific producer Anthony Placencia alongside Kent Brown. Cam Molina on hand for you. A lot of traffic here, Kent. We were able to muddle through it, and fortunately here for tonight's splendid matchup between two crosstown rivals and what will be an outstanding Pacific View League contest.
Two teams, same city, there's rivals. They go after one another. They want this game. We were able to see Oxnard last week. We get to see Pacifica today with this 3-3-5 defense and a bunch of Division I talent on the roster.
And an early kickoff set away by the Yellowjackets, and it will be the Pacifica Tritons who will have the first offensive sequence today, and we will see the like of the very talented Malik Sherrod, the senior running back who last season was able to garner 14 touchdowns, 16 total, 1,438 rushing yards on the ground, and so far this season, 10 total TDs, an absolute physical specimen.
Coach Mike Moon loves the skill talent. Malik Sherrod, Michael Johnson is electric, a ton of receivers that have Division I offers, and of course, a quarterback that can help lead this team. Another
Correct.
Senior quarterback that we've been able to be accustomed to these last couple weeks.
Speaking of seniors, it's R.J. Maria coming out in the shotgun formation. Delayed handoff will work towards near side is Sherrod. He'll go across the 40, work outside the numbers, and tiptoe out of bounds at the 45-yard line. A 9-yard scamper on first down.
Flag down, though, right at the end of the run near the sideline. Sherrod, he is a speedster. Michael Johnson is a guy. They're both small, but they're both guys that if they're in space, it's 6. You have to tackle them near the line of scrimmage. You cannot afford, if you're a linebacker or a safety, to miss that tackle because all of a sudden you'll be watching them streak across the goal line. But on first down, a penalty now will bump the Pacifica Tritons back after the good first down rush. It's negated, and it's first and long.
So when I spoke with Coach Moon earlier this week, he said he loves the talent on his team. He also told you he loved the skill position players. But when it boils down to it, this team is untested. This will be one of their biggest challenge this season's obviously for a game that will most likely decide the PVL. And a quick pitch left side. Sherrod lowers his shoulder and dings right into one of the Yellow Jacket before tripping up and going out of bounds.
That was a big hit. A good job by Sherrod to make sure he lowered his shoulder into the impact. And a tough gain, and it now makes it second and manageable. You're able to get back that penalty yardage, get inside the 40-yard line, and we're going to get a lot of number 20 tonight, Sherrod, a lot of 23. And then R.J. Maria, as we said, a senior signal caller, a kid that this coaching staff trusts. But up front, 4 senior offensive lineman starters, another junior. They have a ton of guys all over the place with experience.
Keep feeding him. Sherrod will work outside the hash marks, then we'll work along the seam across the 50 into Yellow Jacket territory, but there's dirty laundry on the field thrown by the back umpire, and yet again another holding call.
That hole looked way too open for obvious reasons. Inside, I believe it was the right guard committed the hold. He's actually the captain, Julio Ray, and that's brutal now because it backs them up in the second and long again. And with Malik Sherrod, you don't have to do a lot of holding. You just have to create a little bit of space, and he'll make the defense pay for it. But now 2 crucial penalties here on this opening set of drives and set of downs so far for Pacifica and Coach Mike Moon.
So it will be a second down in what feels like eternity at 14. Yet again, almost a replay of the first down situation all over again. But again, we talk about the skill position talent on this team. Kyrie Wilson on the outside. The senior comes into this matchup with 259 receiving yards and 2 TDs, as well as Savon Farmer, who last year led this team in receptions and touchdowns. They are more than just a run team. In motion, coming from left to right in an end-around sweep. Working towards the right side is Michael Johnson III, near the 40-yard line, shy of the 48 at the 47-yard line, and a small skidder of 5 yards.
Yeah, it gets them into 3rd and 9, so it's positive yardage. But that time, a great job by this Oxnard defense. That defensive line, Jacob Murillo, Damien Reyes inside, they pushed that play to the outside. They were trying to cut in, and because of that, instead of what would have been an 8 or 9 yard gain, it only established about 4 yards.
So on a 3rd down and 9, Maria will most likely be called upon. Over 1,000 yards passing this year. Actually, he and Jaden Jones, the quarterback for the Yellow Jackets, are just 1 yard apart in terms of the overall passing yard rankings in Ventura County. as Maria will come out with a shotgun formation, and the flag comes out yet again, and will be a false start on the offense. So what is a strength for Pacifica early on has been a detriment to them. And again, it may go back to what Coach Moon said. We're untested. We're a little undisciplined here and there. And he mentioned that undisciplined nature in last week's game when this team was able to bury the Buena Bulldogs 45-7. He said early on, Buena pounded us right up the middle. Our defense and our offense really didn't know how to respond, and he said, quote unquote, we were punched in the mouth. We eventually rebounded. Maybe this is an instance where a lot of the hype for this matchup is getting to these young guys early on, and now it's time for them to settle down.
Yeah, it very well might be. They need to settle down, though, because this is a very talented Oxnard team they're playing tonight.
Kyrie Wilson working the top of the formation. Maria under duress, and he is sacked in the backfield at his own 26-yard line. Grant Ellis, the junior linebacker who was out last game against Ventura, accelerates to the right side of the offensive line, is able to pluck through the defense, comb towards Maria, and drop him.
Yeah, that time it was 3rd and long. It's probably not a high percentage play as it is, but the defense was able to force pressure, get the quarterback to have to fall back on his footing, and before you know it, he's down. A big play by this defense and a huge stop here, barring some sort of special teams penalty.
And Scooter Carranza will attempt this punt, and back to receive will be Tanelo Lamalu as the ball will gracefully hop and then skip backwards, still in Triton territory at the 45 and then back to the 43-yard line. And Oxnard, this is almost a visage of last week where they had excellent field position against Ventura, and they were able to capitalize on several occasions, leading to 33 points.
I was just thinking that. They had great field position all game against Ventura. This time they're at home against the crosstown rivals, and to start off in plus territory at the 42-yard line, it's a blessing. That's exactly where you want this offense to be to start off this game after a really good defensive series, obviously aided by a few penalties.
And Xavier Harris, the senior running back, quite heralded in the Ventura County area last season, nearly 1,700 yards rushing, 32 total touchdowns for the young man. He had over 100 yards last week against Ventura, and it's a play action. Jones will peel right, darts a right side, but an incomplete pass as the errant throw was behind Lamalu.
Yeah, that time they were actually trying to go to Fred Vasquez, unable to haul it in.
I beg your pardon.
For Jaden Jones, that's a good throw. It's there. You got to make the play. But on 1st and 10 from inside the 45-yard line, I would live with that if I'm this coaching staff. You're not going to lose this game by getting him matched up one-on-one with the tight end, especially when the throw is there to be made. So overall, just lack of execution, but a good play call.
Jones comes out in the gun again. Harris flanked to his left. In motion, Lamalu from left to right. It's a delayed handoff. Harris, he'll wheel outside the numbers and outside the hash mark across the 35. And it looks like he's more at the 34 potentially.
The 36.
And 36.
That gets them also. They're going to play this for 4th down. So when you look at this, you made a mistake on 1st down, errant throw. 2nd down, you pick up half-decent yardage.
And there was an offensive penalty against the Yellowjackets, and it will be a face mask, and it looks to be of the 15-yard variety as the Yellowjackets have packed up their backpacks and have gone all the way back into their own territory at their 45-yard line.
Yeah, so now you need to get up to the 32. So you're facing 17 yards to go, or, even longer, actually. But 18 plus another 5. So 23 yards you're going to need for a 1st down. Also, how about the crowd tonight? And we knew this, but look at this side. It is all fans. And then on the Pacifica side, it's packed as well. You wouldn't expect anything else from this crosstown rivalry. 2 teams that combined 11-1 record. Great crowd, the best we've seen all year. Under
center, Jones. He finds Harris, who's trying to run towards the right side of the line, and he is absolutely engulfed. Nowhere for him to go, as it's Brad Bishard, the inside linebacker, who made the initial stop, as he was also followed up by a couple other Tritons on the play.
Bishard is a big kid. They also use him a little bit at quarterback at times, and he can make plays. And that time, you put him at that Mike linebacker spot, you let him go out and make the play. 6'1", 215 pounds, and he just swallowed the tailback on that down.
Last year, he had 65 total tackles. He's now at 51 this year after that stop, as he is slowly encroaching on breaking last year's mark. Harris will be flexed out towards the left side of the formation. Aaron Fonts, the Colorado State offeree, towards the bottom of the set. Jones under duress. He'll peel left. Looks for his check down. Lamalu juggles the ball, mishandles it, and it is incomplete, bringing up a 4th down and 25 after a costly early offensive face mask.
Yeah, I'm not sure Lamalu would have been able to turn that upfield and gain maybe 3 or 4 yards anyways. So it would have been a far cry from even the original sticks to get back to the line of scrimmage. But with that, the throw was low, incomplete, and what was great field position, they started at the 42-yard line. They ended up losing on that drive close to 15 yards. Penalty aided again. So both teams now, Cameron, have made mistakes on offense. 3 penalties on the first Tritons drive, 1 huge penalty for the Yellowjackets.
And Taylor Rapp, the 5'9 junior, set to punt it away, but a flag comes in. And it will be a false start on the special teams unit with Michael Johnson, the senior, back to return the punt for Pacifica, who once again enters this contest 6-0 with the Pacific View League win last week against Buena. I mean, it was a smothering defensive victory, and we saw that smothering defense this last drive. They had 16 tackles for a loss, 4 by Bouchard, and 4 sacks against the Bulldogs.
And Johnson's a kid that Coach Mike Moon told me he's returned a few this year.
Yes.
So he has been a real weapon on special teams.
Rab, it looks like the ball deflected off one of the helmets of Pacifica, and the ball will just slowly roll out of bounds. Devin Opue, the 6'5 junior who has garnered a ton of collegiate interest from USC, Utah, Oregon State, for example. I believe the ball deflected either off his fingertips or off his helmet. I don't think Rab saw the 6'5 talented player come rushing from the left side.
Yeah, you had Opue coming in. Sherrod was starting to make a little noise there. 2 of their best players, probably one of which will be playing in the Pac-12 next year, maybe both. All of a sudden, what was great field position at their own 40, at the opposite 42, it ends up being a net of 2 yards when all is said is done for this Pacifica team, taking over at the 44. How about that?
Pacifica 4 wide set with Sherrod in the backfield. Read option. Sherrod will take it himself along the 20, maintains his balance, spins away at the 45, and has 11 yards on the first down run.
Great run. A good job at the end by the Oxnard Yellowjackets just to contain him and not letting Sherrod break away, as Malik nearly was able to get up the sideline. But you'll take 10 and a half, 11 yards every time on first down. And what we didn't see? No penalties. That's a start.
Well, for both of these teams, Coach Jaime Marino for the Yellowjackets, as well as Mike Moon for the likes of the Pacifica Tritons, want to make sure both Sherrod and Harris run north to south and not run out towards the boundaries. So Sherrod tries to cut it back inside of the numbers as he stops shy of the 40-yard line. And Michael Johnson, I beg your pardon, rushed up the middle and made a quick jump.
A good job by the defense there. Ennis, Lopez, Hutchinson, all 3 linebackers were right there in position. I believe it was Hutchinson getting the final tackle there. And they're going to use Johnson in all different types of ways tonight from that slot spot. He'll get plenty of carries, but that time it was good defense. Even with that said, he picked up probably 4 or 4.5, but it was hard-earned 4 yards.
Towards the top of the formation, at the top of your screen will be Savon Farmer, the senior, sporting the number 1 in the I formation. Maria turns around. Here's Sherrod, right side, works along the right hash marks and looks like he has more than enough for a first down as he stopped at the 35-yard line, scampers forward for 8.
Pacifica, the first team I've seen this fall, having the names on the jerseys. Not very common in high school football to see that, but it's cool when you get that as a player. You
the
can
recognition, everyone sees it, especially in front of the large contingents here for the Tritons and the Yellowjackets.
Yeah, that's something you almost feel like you need to earn, and when you're 6-0, you feel like you've earned it so far. You don't want to be 1-5 sporting your name. 6-0, you feel pretty good.
At the bottom of the formation is Grant Ennis, or I beg your pardon, Swanson Nunnerly for Pacifica, but running with the football is Sherrod, and he will go out shy of the 20 at the 21-ish yard line, and that again will move the chains. A 14-yard scamper for the senior.
I love the chippiness on the sideline, a couple, back and forth between Sherrod and some of the defensive backs. That's the way it should be. I think this is such a big rivalry game for both, a Pacific View League game, and 2 teams that there's no love loss. They want to win this game. They want to be able to look at the kids across the town and go, we beat you. For the next 365 days, you have to deal with it.
Pacifica comes in their road bleach white uniforms, and in motion from left to right is Johnson, who will move into the slot. It's a handoff to Sherrod. He tries to deke out the defense on multiple occasions, but he gets to about the 19-yard line as he will skitter forward for 3 yards.
They're going to run the football a lot. It's going to be a lot of Sherrod, a little bit of Johnson, some Puller potentially. And I think right now Oxnard's done a pretty good job against them in the early stages. The Yellowjackets haven't necessarily stopped them at the line of scrimmage, but there's been the 3, the 2, the 4-yard carries, and there is now a flag down, and it does look like it will be another offensive penalty from the Tritons. They're 4th in this game so far, Cam.
3 holding calls on top of that, so the offensive line not executing as we would have expected into this contest. And according to Coach Moon, he says we have some really strong guys up front. Right tackle Vika Aina is probably the strongest guy on the team. So for these mental lapses, though, the talent's there. It's just not expected early on in this contest.
Yeah, you need to be a bit more sharp from the offset, and it stymied them on the first drive. It kills them on that play. Still first down, but first and long.
Nunnery, bottom of the formation, and out of the pistol set will be Pacifica, but it will be a timeout used by Oxnard. And actually an official timeout as the scoreboard numbers are a little crazy here, but right now it's currently 0-0 midway through the first quarter of action in what is the Gonzales Road rivalry, the battle for Gonzales Road towards the east side, Pacifica, Oxnard on the west side. And as Coach Moon told me, hey, every year when we come into a game like this, we understand the PVL goes through Oxnard. That's a big sign of respect from Coach Moon, but it's also a challenge to his team that, hey, if we want to reclaim that title, we need to ensure that we come into today and perform very well and execute.
Yeah, of course. Execution's key. The performance of these two teams, knowing the fact that this game means so much, league game. And you mentioned earlier, this very well might be for the Pacific View League when all is said and done.
Yes.
And that is huge because it's a little bit past mid-season, but there's no guarantee that if you lose this game, you can all of a sudden work your way towards the league title. That you have to treat this kind of like a playoff game tonight. And if you look at the crowd, it has a playoff feel. Absolutely.
Well, these two clubs ended up facing one another last season. Oxnard prevailed 24-14, but they each met similar demise by the hands of South Hill, for Pacifica losing in the semifinals, for Oxnard in the Division 6 championship. Deep pitch. Sherrod waits for his blocks to develop, but nothing much going there as Titus Hutchinson, who had a fumble return last week for a touchdown against Ventura, is there to clean up the mess.
Hutchinson's been active tonight, already a couple tackles from the outside linebacker. And you were right, a deep pitch, unable to get any separation on the line. A great job by this defensive line. And then the linebackers came through, run fit, found the fit, made the tackle, and it ended up being about a 1-yard gain. So a really good job by the front seven so far for the Oxnard Yellowjackets.
And Grant Ennis, the junior linebacker, hanging out towards the left side of the defensive line for this Yellowjackets bunch. Entering today, 17 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, and he's wearing a club on that left hand. He's been out for a while. Pitch to Sherrod, again deep behind his own line of scrimmage as he tries to maneuver his way up along the far side boundary, and he's edged out of bounds, doesn't even get back to the original line of scrimmage, and that will bring up a 3rd and long. And we may see in this situation Coach Moon finally dial up a pass from Marita to potentially execute.
The only other time they've attempted a pass so far, it ended up with the quarterback tripping in the backfield and going down, and then a punt. So another 3rd and long opportunity. You would expect them to put the ball in the air, but remember, they could potentially pick up 5-6 yards and go for 4th down too.
And the slot is Isaiah Moon, the senior and son of Mike Moon. And here's a delayed handoff. Sherrod tries to dance, cuts back inside of the numbers, but he stops short of the 15-yard line at about the 19-yard line of the Yellowjackets. And I thought I saw something fly up, and yes, it was a flag near the 21-yard line of Oxnard.
I love that counter. Get the team to go one way, come back the other way. A really good run by Malik Sherrod, and now we'll see if it's on the offense or the defense. There's been so many penalties on the Tritons' offense. Unsportsmanlike on the defense. So instead of this being 4th and 4, let's add 15 yards, put the Tritons into the red zone, and now they're knocking on the door here near the goal line. A crucial defensive penalty,
yes.
Cam. Unsportsmanlike penalty post tackle, and now the Tritons in the best field position all night, 1st and goal inside the 10.
At the 9-yard line of the Yellowjackets along the right hash mark, it will be a split back set with Sherrod to the right hip of Maria, and on his left hip is Johnson the third. Wilson is at the bottom of the screen, and Maria and company are waiting for the game clock to begin. They're speaking with the referee, and now play will resume with 3:54 remaining in the opening frame of action. 0-0 the score. 3 wide receivers set. Maria fakes to Johnson, hand up to Sherrod along the left side, but he is stumped by Ennis.
Good job by Ennis. This linebacking core has been great so far. And that's a tough formation to defend because you have weapons on the outside in Moon, Wilson, Farmer. Nunnery wasn't in on that play, but he very well might be soon. And then the 2 speedsters in the backfield. That is a lot for a defense to have to try to cover and make sure that they have accounted for.
And for the likes of the Yellowjackets, cladded in that scarlet red uniform with those gold numerals and lettering on the back and front respectively with the white pants, the Tritons will come out in a pistol set. Johnson, the deep man, hands it off to the feature back. Johnson will try to squirt towards the outside and use the sideline, but he is forced out of bounds with little to no gain as Carlos Barboza is there on the tackle.
Great job by the cornerback Barboza. He was a playmaker last week in our game of the week as well. And that time, that's what you want if you're Pacifica. Get to the edge and hope your running back can get past the corner. And that time, unfortunately for Pacifica, fortunately for the Yellowjackets of Oxnard, the cornerback won the matchup.
3rd and goal at the 5-yard line of the Yellowjackets.
There's nobody guarding the receiver down here.
Wide open is the tight end, and it will be a sprint towards the left side of the formation and a touchdown by Brad Bishard. The backup quarterback took it on his own accord. No one was on the outside guarding Opu, but Bishard said, hey, you can't catch me, and picks up 6 for the first touchdown here in the contest.
Now there's going to be a flag thrown after, probably unsportsmanlike on the offense, is my guess. It will be still a touchdown. But yeah, I just thought Bishard was just going to throw it to the outside, and it was going to be Opu walking in for a touchdown. Instead, he took off and realized, as long as you block for me, I'm good. But a great job by Bishard to just understand that his tight end will block. But there was nobody on the left side of that formation defensively, right side for the defense, left side for the offense. There will be a post-play penalty on the Tritons, but that is just not good communication by the defense. I don't know if Coach Mike Moon and Pacifica just absolutely were shocked that there was nobody there. I feel like Oxnard should have used a timeout there, but clearly the Yellowjackets were caught off guard.
So the PAT, instead of being its traditional 19-yard chip-chop-ish, it's going to be closer to a 34-yard attempt. As Scooter Carranza, who this season is 37 of 37 on PATs, will have his work cut out from him. His longest this season is 44-yard field goal-wise.
Great drive, though. Great answer, taking advantage of penalties and using your playmakers.
Carranza, kick is up. And a fair job splitting the uprights as the Pacifica fan section and student section absolutely crazed. And a 7-0 lead for the Tritons with 2:56 remaining in the opening frame of action over the rivals here on Gonzales Road. The Oxnard Yellowjackets here on the Ventura Orthopedics Game of the Week. Ventura Orthopedics is proud to support the collegiate and high school athletic teams in the community. The doctors serve as team physicians for most of the high school and college sports programs in the area. Whether assisting with game injuries or cheering for players from the sidelines, the doctors at Ventura Orthopedics consider it a privilege to be a part of the team. Our excellent producer, Anthony Placencia, alongside Kent Brown, Cam Molina on hand with you here at VCStar.com for what has turned in already to an exhilarating matchup. Though just 7-0 in the first quarter, Kent, we saw a ground and pound style of offense coming from this Pacifica club, and it seemed to work in their favor, and were able to capitalize on a Bishard 4-yard rushing touchdown to put them up 7-0.
Both teams made mistakes on their first possession. Pacifica, second possession, took advantage of more defensive mistakes. Now we'll have to see what Oxnard does on its second possession. We know this offense can click when things are going well, but this will probably not be as good field position as the start.
Carranza with the dart, and that one skips. Xavier Harris tries to field it and make something out of nothing, but is dropped inside of his own 10 at his own 8-yard line. And Carranza with a low-hanging kick that skipped over the green on the field, and Harris bobbled the football and tried to go towards the outside, weave back in, but there was nowhere for him to work. So starting from the 9-yard line will be the Yellowjackets.
This really does have a playoff feel, and for this league, it feels like a quasi-playoff game. Whoever wins has the edge. I love what I've seen out of both crowds. We are hearing the Pacifica crowd from the other side, and it feels like they're near us, and they're not. Now, right now, they're up 7-0, but this Oxnard crowd, they've been alive throughout this first quarter as well. The energy here has the best we've seen all year so far in our Orthopedics game of the week.
Fred Vasquez III realigns toward the left side of the formation, and it's Harris for 9 yards on the first down run. And Coach Moon wanted him to run north to south, but it kind of played into the favor of Harris as he accelerates for nearly a first down.
He gets it. It was officially a 10-yard carry.
10 yards on first down.
You got to move those sticks, as a friend of ours would say. And it's now first down again. That's the best offensive play they've had so far.
Fonts working towards the bottom of the formation against Noel Williams, the senior. Left to right motion will be Vasquez the third again. Harris tripped up in the backfield, nowhere to go, and a bullet wrapping up Harris on the play as Poi Aina is there on the stop. One of the Aina brothers for this Triton club.
Yeah, we have Vika, Poi, Pup. There's a lot of Ainas on this team, and they're all playmakers. This 3-3-5 defense is unique. They have what they call the Falcon safeties. They modeled this after the Air Force Falcons. So you have Willie Dillon and Kyrie Wilson as those two strong safeties. And then Malik Sherrod, it makes so much sense. He's your free safety that is just eyeing up any deep pass whatsoever. And the two Falcon safeties are there to clean up anything if it gets to the second level.
Well, the junior Lamalu working towards the bottom of the formation against Williams. Jones comes out in the shotgun set with a tight end towards the left side. Lamalu resets. Jones on a 4-man rush. Peels left. Bouchard chasing down Jones. Has him around the ankles. Jones maintains his balance across the 15 to the 17-yard line. Maybe a gain of 1 or 2. And Caleb McCullough, the senior, there on the tackle.
Yeah, he has 22 offers, as Coach Moon pointed out to me this week. A 3-star, highly touted kid. Offers all around the country. You know, Big 10, Pac-12, Big 12 schools. A lot of schools are looking at Caleb McCullough, and for good reason. He's a really good linebacker. He's a kid that I think will fit into a system. He'll listen to coaches. He'll work his tail off in the weight room, and he'll continue to build. And then being 6'3", 215 is a nice frame to build off of as well.
Easily. Jones with a 4-wide set. 4-man rush. Bouchard, who else is there again? Jones maintains his balance, but then he's mollywopped along the near sideline, and Opu, the junior, picks up right where McCullough left off.
Opu, another 3-star prospect that has Pac-12 and Power 5 school offers. And between those two guys, you don't want to run near 44 and 22 too often, and guess what they're doing? 44 and 22 are near the running backs right now. And when that happens, Cam, you're not getting 3rd and long. You're not getting 2nd and long. The defense for Pacifica has been lights out. In the 2 possessions that we've seen so far, they've gone 2 possessions. It's still negative yards for this offense so far, and now it faces with a 3rd and very long again, or 4th down already. It has been tough sledding for this Yellowjackets offense.
And as that is finished up, it is the end of the first quarter of play, 7-0, and you said lights out, Kent. Well, the lights are on for the Pacifica fan section. All their cell phone lights are on right now. iPhones, Verizon phones, AT&T phones, Pixels, whatever, you name it, are on right now to cheer on their Tritons, who currently lead by possession. And
we have confetti on this side.
Yeah, we have confetti on this side, too, here on the Ventura Orthopedics Game of the Week on VCStar.com. 20 doctors with 5 locations in Ventura County, all with one goal in mind, to get you back in the game. Ventura Orthopedics specializes in sports medicine, general orthopedics, pain management, pediatric, and MRI. Ventura Orthopedics offers exceptional therapy services featuring 26 highly skilled physician and occupational therapists. Learn more at VenturaOrtho.com or call to schedule an appointment at 800-698-1280.
Great game so far. Huge chance here for Pacifica, though, to have outstanding field position. And now you are punting to the very dangerous, quite possibly the best return man in the county. In fact, I don't even know if it's debatable. I feel like Michael Johnson is the best return man in the county. And it should be outstanding field position, as the whistle is blown and another flag.
Yes, another false start. And on the topic of Johnson, he's been such a dynamite player. The senior who comes in at 5'7", 165 pounds, entering this contest, 508 rushing yards, 6 rushing touchdown, and that's excluding what he's doing in the receiving game. 13 receptions, 327 yards, 6 touchdowns. He's just been a jack of all trades on the offensive side of things.
Yeah, think about what type of average that is, where you have 327 yards on 13 carries. I'm going to do the math here, and that comes out to 25 yards of reception.
So Johnson will field it short of his own 40. He'll wheel it to maintain inside the numbers, deking out a defender, but there's a block in the back. Johnson loses his footing.
Great punt.
And the flag is down to the 45 for a block in the back.
Huge punt. If that was bad, you're great field position. Instead, it was backed up to the 40. The flag now will bump them all the way inside the 35 most likely, and a huge break for the Oxnard Yellowjackets here. A little bit of defensive breathing room all of a sudden, as we thought this was going to be a possession that might start on the opposite 30.
So for this Yellow Jacket offense, there's a lot of continuity up front. When you speak of Logan Simmons, he and Xavier Harris have been playing together since they were 10 years old at the North Oxnard Warriors Youth Football League. I mean, this offensive line just knows each other so well. Matthew Cortez, Simmons, Harris, all playing with one another since the age of 10 years old, and now they bring that camaraderie to the high school level in all of their senior seasons, and it's kind of boiled down to this: can they go ahead and win what will most likely, as we've already discussed, be the tilting point in the Pacific View League?
And that's what I love about crosstown rivalries, is these kids have grown up together. They played with one another since they were 6 years old, and a lot of them know each other for a decade, and now they get to go play the highest level of high school football there is against one another.
Sherrod to the 39 for a gain of 3 yards.
I mean, we've seen some times where it's brothers playing on both sides in these games, cousins going up against one another. You know, maybe you had an uncle that went to one school, a dad that went to the other, and the families are in the crowd going after one another. You get to see a lot of that in these type of rivalries, and it's so much fun to experience as an announcer, but it's a whole nother ball game if you're one of the kids in this game or one of the families cheering on one or both sides.
Farmer to the bottom of the formation, working against Barboza. Maria looks left, caught by Johnson, daylight in front of him, 50, 45, 40, and finally ushered out of bounds by the safety Lamalu.
A really good play, just a quick screen. You get 1 or 2 blocks on the outside. You mentioned the cornerbacks. That time the corners were unable to get out there and make the initial tackle, and because of the speed of Johnson, he didn't get touched till he was past the chains. First down, and now plus 40, you're moving the ball into Yellow Jacket territory. And it wasn't a tough throw. Anytime you can pick up first down passing yardage and it's a quick throw, a simple high percentage throw, that's a win for the offense and really for the play callers of the Tritons.
21-yard pickup as Maria will come under center in a strong eye set. Left side, it's Sherrod waiting for his blocks to develop. Opuke subbed in as the tight end, and Sherrod maintains his balance. He'll have a first down across the 30-yard line to maybe the 28-29.
You know, sometimes you watch these games and it's pretty evident maybe one kid looks more of the part of a Division I guy compared to the others. In this game, Devin Opue's that guy.
I knew you were going there.
He stands out. You watch him block, you watch him in coverage, you watch him make plays, you know, as that D lineman. He's able to get there the way the safeties would, only he's about 45 pounds heavier. And you watch him, and it is a lot of fun to see him line up and just dominate.
Again, hand off to the fullback, and I believe that was Bouchard. Yes, and he is stymied at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they love to use him all over the field, and because he's a weapon at quarterback too, you could maybe expect to pass one of these times. And the defensive end that time, Isaiah Garcia, came up, made the play, the senior strong side end, and that's a huge play because it's not a gain of 8 or 9 like they've been popping off earlier this possession.
I want to go back to Opue real quick. He said in a VC Star article earlier this week, and VC Star has really outlined this matchup very well for both Oxnard and Pacifica, but he says, I tend to beat myself up after games. I mean, when I look back at film, I should feel like I should make this play or that play, and I know I can do better. It's not only the physical aspect, but the mental aspect as well for that young man. And at the 20-yard line, being nudged out of bounds is Isaiah Moon, the senior, his 9th reception on the year.
Yeah, the coach's son, a good play there to catch the ball, turn upfield, pick up good yardage, and now it sets up 3rd and 1.5 or 2, and that's exactly where you want to be. And then when you have Malik Sherrod and Michael Johnson to hand the ball off to, there are so many opportunities, and Bouchard now coming in as that quarterback position again, seemingly, unless he's going to be the up back. We'll have to see how they use him here.
3rd down and 2. 9:35 remaining in this first half of action in Pacifica.
The Maryland I formation, I love it.
Leading by a touchdown. Here's Sherrod. He'll slash back inside, picks up a first down, shy of the 15, maybe 14-yard line. Looks like right at the 15-yard line and a 5-yard scoop.
That was outstanding. So you brought in Bouchard to be that lead fullback. Then you have the halfback. And then really deep, you have Sherrod. He has 2 inline blockers. Then you have your tackles, your guards. And it was just, we trust our guy to beat your guy on the edge. We have your numbers up front. That Maryland I formation was like a staple in football back in the 60s, 70s, into the 80s. It's hardly used now. And I have a feeling they kind of probably waited on that until this week and said, we're going to use this. Oxnard's defense, you don't know where the blockers are going when you line up that way because they're not like the old school, 2 fullbacks lined to the sides. You don't know left, right up the gut. That was very impressive.
Bouchard will line up a little bit closer to the left side. Here's Sherrod as he's at the 16 to start the offensive drive, maybe back to the line of scrimmage with 8:40 remaining in the first half.
I'm impressed by this offensive line. Remember the first possession, they committed 3 penalties? Since then, relatively clean football, and I'm sure the coaches got after them. Something tells me that Eric Diaz and this Pacifica Tritons offensive staff, they probably chewed out the 5 offensive linemen and said, that's unacceptable. This is your rival. You cannot have this happen again. And this line has played very well the last 2 possessions.
And especially considering they've outscored opponents 343 to 48.
Is that good?
I think it's decent. They've been averaging 57 points per game to 6 points per game. So
yes,
pretty decent. Left to right motion along the offensive line. It will be a handoff to Johnson, and he is absolutely engulfed in the backfield, and the Yellowjackets Garcia stings.
Garcia got him. Tackle for loss. A huge play by the defensive end. He made a tackle earlier this drive, and that time was able to get in. As you said, I love it. Yellowjackets sting. We'll have to come up with one for the Tritons later. Maybe a poke. I don't know quite how we go where with the Triton. But now it gets them in a 3rd and passing down. And right now, Pacifica has shown the ability to run. They haven't shown the ability to pass yet. And the one time they had an obvious passing situation, they failed. So we'll have to see what the Tritons do here.
Well, Maria, the senior quarterback, back into the huddle at 5'9", 185, and Coach Moon said, I love this kid. He's worked so hard. And there were some ball security issues early on in his career. He started 11 games as a sophomore, but he's improved drastically since. And stoppage in play. It will be a timeout for Pacifica with 7:10 remaining in this first half of action on a 3rd down and 12. And with a 1-possession lead, Pacifica obviously with the edge, but Oxnard defense swelling with confidence. It's not as if they need to make a ground-breaking play here. Just keep everything in front of you, stop them here on 3rd down, and force a 4th down.
Yeah, I think right now they can still go 4 downs. This is not just a 3-down territory, but overall, I think that if you are Oxnard, you got to get him in 4th and long, not 4th and medium. And that's the key right now is if they're going to pass the ball, don't let them get 8 or 9.
Hey, heads up. Today's broadcast is a product of the Ventura County Star, your local leader in high school sports for Ventura County area. To support this broadcast and all the year-round sports coverage by the sports team at the Star, sign up for a print or digital subscription to the Ventura County Star. Visit subscribe.vcstar.com to see all of our special offers.
Yeah, and then VCS Preps on Twitter. Follow a lot of the county games, of course, with some of the weather, fires and that, not necessarily every game happening in the area tonight. But here in Oxnard, we have the best game in the county tonight. We are happy to be here. But check us out on Twitter at VCS Preps the rest of the night. We'll be covering all the area's games.
4 wide set. Farmer towards the bottom of the formation, and there is another flag and a false start.
Yeah, I think it might have been Johnson at the top who was just moving before the ball was snapped. You have to stay still there if you're not the motion guy, and a little bit unfortunate now. You get in 3rd and very long, and this is starting to fall into Oxnard's hands here. Now we know Carranza drilled a long extra point earlier. He has the leg, but this would be, at the moment, about a 40-yard attempt. You'd think you'd like to get a little bit closer to help your kicker if you end up kicking, but the offense now, we don't want these penalties if you're the Tritons, but that is a big penalty, because even if you pick up 8 now, you're still 4th and long.
Sherrod. Glom to the left tip of Maria. Swing pass left side at Sherrod. Does a little high step and tries to wiggle out of a tackle. Maintains his balance. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage before a herd of Yellowjackets are there. And Coach Moon thought there was a little bit of a late hit. And Barboza turns to the Pacifica fan section and lifts his hands up saying, come on, let's hear it. What are you going to say?
Yeah, the Triton staff not happy there. They thought a little bit extracurricular, or at least something to warrant the flag. And a great job by Sherrod, though, to not go down on first contact. You're an Eagles fan. It kind of reminds you a little bit the stout running back that can make people miss, and Darren Sproles. That's what he showed there. But what that play did, they picked up about 7 or 8, and it now sets up a much more manageable field goal attempt. And if Pacifica makes it, a 2-score lead at this point in the game is very significant.
Maria the holder. The Yellowjackets anxiously lining up towards the line of scrimmage. 6:13 left in the half. Carranza, kick is on the way, and it splits the uprights, and the 31-yard field goal is good, putting Pacifica up 10-0 with just over 6 minutes left in the first half of play.
Great field goal, great drive, good awareness from the Oxnard defense there to at least make the field goal attempt happen. They didn't give up the back-breaking touchdown. 10-0, it's not where you want to be if you're Oxnard, but at this stage, the way your offense has played, 10-0 might be a win if you can go down and get some points here and make it a 1-score game. It now falls on Jaden Jones, Xavier Harris, Aaron Fonts, Tanelo Lamalu, John Vasquez, those guys, the playmakers that we spoke so highly of last week against Ventura. Those are the guys on this drive that need to show up. But as we know, it usually starts with the offensive line, and we saw in the first 2 possessions, the defensive front for the Tritons beat the offensive front of the Yellowjackets.
It will be Carranza to send this one away with 6:07 remaining in the half. Back to return both Harris and Fonts for the crimson-cladded Yellowjackets. From his own 6-yard line, Harris will work towards the right seam. He stays in between the hash marks and is down at the 30-yard line for a return of 24 yards. Devin Opue there on the tackle. And Kim, when I spoke with Coach Moreno, he said, I have the utmost confidence in Jaden Jones, the junior quarterback. Last week he showed a lot of poise and composition in the pocket against Ventura, even when the pressure was coming in. He told me also, he and offensive coordinator Tim Gutierrez, it's like they have telepathy, that they know what's on one another's mind, and that they can almost finish each other's sentences. That's just how in sync that they are.
And in their only loss of the year against Camarillo, we did that the game of the week. That was a hotly contested game in which Jaden Jones came back and almost led the team to victory. So he's not going to be shaken in this situation.
So Harris for 9 on first down. Then a late flag comes in. You wonder if this is unsportsmanlike conduct or any helmet-to-helmet content at the end of the play.
Yeah, they're going to call personal foul, face mask on the Triton. So 9 yards, add 15 more. It's a 24-yard pickup. And the Oxnard Yellowjackets back in plus territory. Last week, that was the backbreaker. This week so far, they have not been able to capitalize off the shorter fields, but a really good gain on first down, a net of 24 yards.
So to the 46-yard line of the Tritons. And the clock will restart at 5:50 in this first half. 10-0. Pacifica leads. Fonts toward the bottom of the formation. Harris will run the Wildcat. He'll fake left and then run left with Lamalu as a lead block. Harris stumbles forward but maintains his balance. He's outside the numbers, tiptoes along the 35-yard line and out at the 33, and he picks up 13 on first down.
Great job. A lot going on there with that potential jet sweep movement of Tanelo Lamalu. We know he's dangerous in that position. Harris fakes it to him, keeps it, picks up a first down, and now you're knocking on the door. You're a first down away from getting near the red zone. And there's so many weapons on this offense. They need to block like that a few more times, and it very well might be a 1-score game, short enough.
Jones with Ayala as the fullback will turn and hand to Harris across the 30, 25-20, shakes off a defender, and finally is ushered out of bounds by Johnson.
Into the red zone, the Yellowjackets go, trying to get the first score of the game for the Oxnard team, and get this home crowd back in it. Right now, the Tritons sideline has won that battle of crowd noise because they've built the 10-0 lead. If they can get a score here, expect an eruption on this sideline from this Yellowjackets crowd.
16-yard run by Harris. J.J. Ayala again lined up as the fullback directly behind Jones, and Harris stumbles for a second, tries to regain his balance, tap dances, and is stopped at the 15 after 2 yards.
Not the worst game, though. You picked up positive yardage. There wasn't any penalty. You're in the red zone, and you're making the defense work. And as long as that continues, just move the football. I think right now you have to know the more you can possess it, that means Pacifica's not on the field either. You're finally making this defense for the first time all night earn their reps. The defense has been 3 and out, 4 and out, 6 and out. There's not been a long sustained possession yet from Oxnard. 5
down defensive lineman. Harris tries to jolt to the outside, and he does. 20, lowers his shoulder, close to the 15, and he is absolutely hammered by a late and incoming defender for the Tritons.
Malik Sherrod that time missed the tackle at the line of scrimmage. Sherrod was unable to make the play, and then McCullough had to clean it up, the big linebacker. But that's a play Sherrod has to make. If you come up from that free safety spot and your shoulder is at the tailback's hip, you better knock him down. And instead, he was unable to do it, and thus it was a short gain, but ultimately positive yardage. It should have been a loss.
39 with just over 4:30 remaining in this first half. Towards the slot is Frez Vasquez III on the right side of the formation. 3 down defensive linemen. Here comes 4 rushing. Jones under duress, peels out, right side flip, back of the end zone, and it is snared, caught, and a touchdown by Fred Vasquez III. The 6'1 senior skies and plucks the ball out of the air, and it is 10-6 as the Yellowjackets narrow the margin.
Kind of a flip throw from Jaden Jones there. Not flippant, just he kind of flipped it into the air, and he trusted that his playmaker would go up and win the one-on-one battle. That was an impressive throw. Put the touch on it, and a great job from Jones to Vasquez, stepping up huge. High snap on the extra point, but it is good by Estrada as he gets it down and through the uprights. And that is exactly the drive, Cam, that the Yellowjackets needed. And a great job by the line to block up front, trusting your receiver and getting the big guy, Vasquez, to go up and make the 50-50 catch. And when you have a player that's 6'1", 185 like Vasquez, he plays tall, he can jump out of the building, and that time he jumped over the defensive back, got the score, and now Oxnard is very much in this game.
And as you said, the senior place kicker, Jose Estrada, who comes in at 5'7", 130, converts the PAT and makes it a 10-7 game with 4:31 remaining in the first half of action, following a 6-play, minute-and-a-half drive that went 70 yards and resulted in a 16-yard pitch and catch between Jones and Vasquez. And just like that, the Yellowjackets bounce right back. And I want to quickly, as the kickoff is about to commence, Caleb McCullough said in one of our VC Star stories that, hey, everyone's expecting a shootout here this Friday, but we don't think so, and it's up to the defense to be able to enable us to do so. And a little pooch kick that sails and is grabbed at the 30-yard line by Bouchard, and Bouchard is popped across the 35 at the 37-yard line.
Flag down, though, so it will be most likely holding on one of the up men, and that is one of the benefits of kicking it short, is a lot of times the up men are used to waiting till your deep return specialist catches it, takes his lane, and then you block. But when the guys behind you catch it, a lot of times you're caught off guard and you just start grabbing the opposition. And because of that, a lot of times you're out of position. The defense is in position. You commit the penalty, and it backs them up to the 24, which with these return specialists, when you have guys like Michael Johnson and Malik Sherrod, that's not a bad way to do it, and that's a real win for the special teams from Oxnard.
And now Pacifica with the ball on their own 24-yard line and 4:27 remaining in the first half. We'll try to piece together another offensive drive and pick up some points before we hit intermission. 4 wide set. Maria turns. A little bit of a read option, and I believe it was Sherrod that was stood up at his own 25-yard line and a 1-yard pickup.
And that time it was the big defensive lineman coming in, Damien Reyes, the sophomore tackle, making the play for Oxnard. And this defensive line has started to make plays at the line of scrimmage. And for Reyes, he's a big-bodied, 230-pound sophomore. There's not a lot of sophomores to see playing time on either of these teams. Reyes is one of them. He's one of the only ones who's a real underclassman who contributes.
Swanson Nunnery will break towards the sideline, confer with Coach Moon, and come back with a play call. Bubba Nunnery, I beg your pardon. 3-step drop. Maria, and he will just fall at his own 17-yard line. And the blitz came right at the gut, and it's Titus Hutchinson again, the junior.
Hutchinson has been the MVP of this defense so far. He's already had a few tackles. That time was there as Maria fell down. Called a quarterback hurry, whatever you want to label it. It's a great job by this defense, and that was a huge play by Hutchinson. He continues to be active in the backfield, and of course, when he has to come up near the line of scrimmage and make a play.
3 minutes remaining in this first half on a 3rd down and 16, where two rowdy fan bases less than 3 miles apart from each other are going at it on the field. Maria on the pitch for the option. Has Sherrod towards the outside, and he's short of the first down marker, but lowered his shoulder and absolutely steamrolled R.J. Aranda.
I kind of like the play call in that you just trust your blockers and your speed guy that they'll be able to get the edge and pick up a very long distance. A good job by the defense not to allow the first, but keep that play in mind because that shows the confidence that Coach Mike Moon and this Pacifica team have in the run game. And now when they're 3rd and 9, 4th and 7, whatever it may be, expect to run and expect them to get it. So even though they didn't get all 15 yards, you picked up about 11 or 12. Eventually you will break that.
Carranza set to punt this one away with Lamalu back to return the punt. And Pacifica just allowing time to trickle away some as the ball will roll across the 50 into Oxnard territory and picked up at the Yellowjackets' 47-yard line with just a hair under 2 minutes remaining in this first half of action. Kent early on, double-digit lead for the Tritons, but the Yellowjackets' last offensive possession seemed to really piece it together. Harris had 4 or 5 handoffs, picked up over 40 yards on the ground, and then Jones on a beautiful flip towards the right side of the end zone had Fred Vasquez for 6. A great balanced approach by this club.
It was the best offensive possession all night by far. Jaden Jones made good decisions, got the throw high and away from the defender in the end zone to allow his big tight end to get it. And now they have a chance. If they replicate that drive, they could have a chance for the lead here, where a few minutes ago they were down 10.
Jones darts it left side, and going down to the ground is Fonts, the senior. And he will pick up across the 50 to the 47-yard line about 6 yards.
I like watching Fonts. He's sure-handed, runs good routes, always seems to find a spot to get open. And that's so nice when you're the junior quarterback like Jones, where you can find your go-to receivers and you trust that they'll find a way to get open. And then when you give them a 50-50 ball, they'll make plays.
Bottom of the formation is Vasquez the third, lined up 1v1 and shifting towards the right side of the formation is Willie Dillon, the senior strong safety. And a stoppage of play and a timeout used by Pacifica with 1:24 remaining in the first half on 2nd down and 5. And for Coach Moreno, Kent, he is no stranger to the Pacifica club. He was the offensive line coach under Will Cohen back in 2004, and he also served under Donnie Ray, the previous head coach, pre-Coach Moon. So he has quite a bit of experience with this club, and he comes, according to him, to almost every single Pacifica game.
These are two staffs that they know one another. They've been surrounded in the same area. And for Pacifica, I kind of feel that chip on their shoulder. They're kind of the team down the street that's trying to prove the point. A lot of the kids don't necessarily feel the same way that Oxnard kids do growing up about, will there be the college opportunities? Will there be a chance to make the play and bring football into that sort of secondary education? And now so many kids have so many offers that it's changed the mindset. And Mike Moon and this Pacifica staff has done a great job in that regard.
And to that point, Coach Moon had told me that earlier on in his tenure, first, second year, he tried to bring in some JUCO coaches to really encourage and provide confidence to these young players for the Tritons that, hey, you guys can go to college and play, but unfortunately, none of the previous regime players really showed up. But since then, a big garnering of college offers for the Pacifica club. Here's Harris at the 40-yard line, but a flag is down by the back judge.
Normally when it's the back judge, it's some sort of delay a game or something like that. But now we'll have to see, because coming off of a timeout, you feel like a delay should not be something that transpires, but it's not to say it's impossible either for that to happen.
Excuse me, it's actually the field judge. He was the furthest back near the 20-yard line of Pacifica, as there's a congregation of zebras at the 40-yard line of the Tritons, and the bleach-cladded Titans towards the far side of the field, and their fan base coming out in droves. And Coach Moreno looks like he's accepting a penalty, and not quite sure what it is, but the sticks will move regardless.
Yeah, I think it was maybe unsportsmanlike or something. I don't know quite, because it gives Oxnard a first down inside the 40-yard line. The Yellowjackets take advantage of whatever the penalty was, and now it's first down with a lot of playmakers.
Fonts in motion, play action, a seam pass intended for Lamalu goes incomplete. Lamalu didn't even get a chance to turn around as Sherrod, the free safety, tried to step up and shovel up the pigskin, which had already bounced off the ground.
Miscommunication there. Clearly, either the quarterback Jones or the wide receiver Lamalu, one of them was off on the timing. It could have been picked. There was a safety in the area, a linebacker in the area, a corner in the area. Fortunate for Oxnard that it wasn't a white jersey coming up with it and forcing a turnover.
James Fetzer, who was the additional lineman, subs out. Offset wide receivers towards the left side of the formation. Bonner screen response. Jones under duress. Keeps it and runs. Bashar tries to make the tackle. Jones slips out of it and tiptoes out of bounds at the 30-yard line and picks up 10 and also moves the chains.
Yeah, Bashard has to make that tackle. You were in the open space. You're 215 pounds. You have a great angle at the quarterback. And for Jones to shake away and get the first down, that's impressive. But if you're a linebacker, the middle linebacker for the defense there, one-on-one with the quarterback, there's no way you can let him out of your grasp. That's a huge win for Jaden Jones in this offense.
51 seconds remaining in this second frame of action. One timeout remaining for Oxnard, and Jones has four receivers split out wide. Marcus Bustios, bottom of the formation. He had an SC Star play of the week, or VC Star play of the week. It's Harris on a screen. He catches it near the 15-yard line and rumbles up the field before going out of bounds at about the 9-10-yard line.
Tim Gutierrez drew up a great play there. That time you had two of your biggest receivers, Lamalu and Vasquez on the left side. Everything to the boundary looked like it was going to be a screen. They faked the outside screen. They faked it over to the left side, and then you just dump it in the middle, and you let Harris do the damage. The defense was caught off guard. If it's Harris against defensive linebackers, he's winning that battle, and that time a great play, and now it's 1st and goal.
Offset receivers towards the bottom of the formation, towards the left hip of Jones is Harris. Jones pump fakes, wheels it on a frozen rope to Fonts. Fonts has an angle, dives for the end zone. He is in. Touchdown, Yellowjackets! 35 ticks remaining in this first half of play. And the guys on the west side of Gonzales Road take a 3-point edge.
Huge drive, a good dump-off pass, and then making the play. Fonts getting around and finding the pylon and getting the score. Jaden Jones, smart decision there. Nothing was open in the back of the end zone. Dump it off to your talented playmaker. There's a reason he has offers from all around the country, including in the Mountain West Conference. And then you just trust your senior receiver will be able to get past the cornerback and get in. What a statement these last two possessions, Cam. You're down 10-0, back against the wall at home, crosstown rival who's undefeated. Smack him in the mouth once, make it a 3-point game. Smack him in the mouth twice, now you take the lead potentially going into the half.
So it was a 5-play, 53-yard drive.
They're sending the offense back in.
Yes, there was a flag, so it moves Coach Moreno's club closer. I believe there were 12 men on the field for Pacifica, now trying to take advantage of this club at 5-play, 53 yards. That lasted about a minute 24. And it's 13-10 right now. Jones and company trying to push it to a 5-point edge, as Vasquez will be the last man on the field for the Yellowjackets. Everyone rushes to the line of scrimmage. Harris will come out in the Wildcat set. He'll lower his shoulder to the right side of the line, and he will just tap dance into the end zone. 15-10, the 2-point conversion is good, and a 5-point edge for the Yellowjackets against the undefeated Pacifica Tritons in a PBO league contest.
Well, you mentioned they're averaging about a 56-7 or 57-6 type of win every week.
57-6.
Well, guess what? It's not going to be 57-6 tonight. You had the 10-0 lead, 15 unanswered, and so far the Cardinal and gold down here on the field has looked sharp in the final stages of the second quarter. They have to close strong. We still have the best return men in all of Ventura County on the other side, but I like the pooch kick here. Kick it short, try to see if one of the up men can make a play. They probably can't do what Sherrod and Johnson can do. And a huge statement, Jones, 2 touchdown passes. I said when it was 10-0, he showed very calm, cool, collective attributes against Camarillo, even though they fell short in their only loss. He was not the reason why in the third and fourth quarter that they didn't win that game. He showed that same ability here on the last 2 drives. Xavier Harris, a great effort on those drives. And now the Oxnard Yellowjackets, this crowd on this side, more noise than the Triton side for the first time all night.
Here comes a little pooch kick. Bouchard at his own 40, and he is plowed into by a myriad of Yellowjackets. The initial contact was made by Hunter Rapp, the defensive back and punter for this Oxnard club. 32 seconds remaining, but 2 timeouts in the name of Pacifica. And for this club, they've shown that they have the proficiency and propensity to run the ball. We've not seen a lot of passing, save for Maria's screen. For a guy that's really cleaned up his act in terms of the turnovers this season with a 62% completion rate, 13 touchdowns, and only 1 pick, Coach Moon hasn't allowed him to throw much.
Yeah, that's one thing. The fact that you're down 5 points, closing stages of the second quarter, and you haven't passed the ball much, that is an issue.
Maria, left side, and an errant throw that's nearly intercepted as he tried to go with a frozen rope right side of the field to Savon Farmer.
Yeah,
and a breakup by Barboza, the junior cornerback.
Barboza was getting a little work on the sideline when the offense was in, maybe kind of a hip or just sort of stretching out some sort of leg injury or something that he needed to stretch out. And that was a great effort on that play to get a hand there, nearly getting the interception. And what this is showing now, the pressure is on the arm of Maria, and he's going to have to probably show the ability to pass the ball downfield if they want points.
Pistol set. Sherrod in the backfield. Hand off to Sherrod. 45 to the 47-yard line, and a little bit of extracurricular activity and a push on Sherrod's face mask by Carlos Barboza.
I don't get that because Sherrod, yes, he's chirping, he's running his mouth a little bit. You can't then just push him right in front of the referees. He wasn't huddled by all his players. Even then you shouldn't do it, but it was so much in the open there, and we just praised Barboza. When it happened, his one coach just grabbed him and even started talking to him like, what are you doing? You can't do that. He's still on the field. You can't afford to lose one of your corners, but at the same point, it's unacceptable in that stage to make that mistake.
And now he is off the field. Titus Hutchinson, one of the leaders for this club, coming over to Barboza and saying, hey, we can't make an errant mistake like that. It's just not going to fly. And with 23 seconds left in the ball at the 37-yard line and 2 timeouts, Pacifica's in a good situation. Titus has to sprint to the left side. Maria shows a head fake across the 35, maintains his balance, remains inbounds. He's shy of the 30-yard line at the 33 and maybe picks up 4 yards on the run.
Yeah, timeout called, and obviously for the Pacifica Tritons, you're in much better field position now. You have a good kicker. If they get maybe 5 to 10 more yards, you feel really good about getting some points with Carranza at the place kick position. But I think right now that 15-yard penalty, Barboza, you just can't do that. You can't make that mistake. You had a great defensive play. You forced Sherrod out of bounds. Why push him?
just undisciplined in that situation. And as you said, there was a coach for the Yellowjacket staff who came over and said, hey, we have to calm down. We have to settle down. And then Titus Hutchinson made his way over. Maybe. You're speculating. I'm sure there were I think there were other words said, but I think that was the gist of the manner. And Hutchinson came over to Barboza as well and said, hey, we got to bounce back. There's still time left on the clock here in the first half. Let's not just consider these first 2 quarters over with. And now Barboza, I believe, is still – no, he's back on the field. He sat out one play, but now he's standing at the 25-yard line of Oxnard with 15 seconds remaining in this first half of play. 2nd down and 6, ball on the 33 for the Tritons. And again, Maria had an opportunity to throw for the first time on this drive and trying to force a pass. I don't think that's going to mar the confidence Coach Moon has in his quarterback, but definitely not a decision you want to see from your senior signal caller.
A lot of weapons on this offense, but it's mainly with their legs. We'll have to see how they do through the air here.
Wilson, bottom of the formation. Sherrod to the left side of Maria. Shoulder fake, lobs it up, intended for Wilson, and good man-to-man coverage towards the bottom of the formation. And Jaden Franco, the free safety / outside linebacker, actually was up towards the line of scrimmage and was able to jam Wilson a little bit.
3rd down, and like I said, field goal is potentially in play with Scooter Carranza, but you're looking at a 50-yarder at the moment. You'd probably like to get the first down, maybe 1-2 more plays, and then really this might just be the final play. If you then get a first down, you spike it, and then you come in for the kick. So we'll have to see how Carranza and this team plays it with just 11 seconds left.
So Maria, and at the top of the formation is Farmer, will come out in a 4 wide receiver set, stacked wideouts towards the right side. Maria will peel right a little bit, ducks back inside, guns a right side, and incomplete by Sherrod, or incomplete by Maria to Sherrod, with 5 ticks remaining in this first half of action. And Carranza's coming out. He's not only the place kicker, but the punter. It probably just makes sense to, it looks like he...
I think he'll kick.
Looks like he might kick,
yeah,
as you're saying.
He has a leg. Now, 50 yards is a lot, but I think right here you risk it. Now, they are going to send a deep man back.
Now, he does have a tee.
It looks like Lamalu.
At the 40-yard line.
Yeah, it'll be a 50-yard attempt. We'll find out what his leg is like.
His long on the season, 44 yards. He's 3 of 3 this season on field goal attempts, 38 of 38
Lamalu back
PATs.
in the end zone.
Carranza. And a timeout used by the Yellowjackets, their final one of this first half of play. So I guess the ice the kicker strategy going into effect here. But for Pacifica, an admirable start, a 10-point edge. The Yellowjackets doing a fantastic job giving the ball to Harris, and Coach Moon wanted Harris to run north to south, and that's what he mostly did. But as the offense was reorganized by offensive coordinator Gutierrez for the Yellowjackets, he implemented a lot of inside screens, shovel pass screens, and it really paid off as the Yellowjackets were able to pick up 6 and put themselves ahead 15-10 in a 2-point conversion by Harris on the last scoring drive, making it that odd score 15.
And the offensive line did its job in those last 2 possessions for Oxnard, getting big plays, opening holes, and then protecting Jones and allowing for those 2 touchdowns.
Jones with a touchdown pass to Vasquez and DeFonts. Tanelo Lamalu is back at his own goal line, right perpendicular with the pylon. Carranza, 50-yard attempt is just shy. So, heading into halftime, 15-10, and the Oxnard Yellowjackets currently winning the battle, the 18th battle for Gonzales Road here on BCStar.com and the Ventura Orthopedics Game of the Week, where with Ventura Orthopedics, they have one goal: to get you back in the game. The doctors are well-versed in special orthopedics needs of both the amateur and professional athlete. Many of their physicians currently serve as team doctors for most of the area high school sports and community colleges. 20 doctors, 26 physical therapists, all with an athlete's best health performance in mind. Learn more at VenturaOrtho.com today or call to schedule an appointment at 800-698-1280. And with that, we will head to halftime, 15-10. And the home Yellowjackets currently lead in what is a PBL clash on the Gonzales Road game and the Ventura Orthopedics game of the week. We'll be back with the second half of action here in a little bit. And a merry welcome back to the Ventura Orthopedic game of the week at Bud Hauser Field as the Oxnard Yellowjackets lead the Pacifica Tritons 15-0 in the 18th battle for Gonzales Road. And a very merry welcome back into the Ventura Orthopedic game of the week on VCStar.com alongside Anthony Placencia, alongside Kent Brown. Cam Molina on hand with you. And in that first half, Kent, patient offense coming from this Oxnard team as they trailed by 10 points following a Bouchard 4-yard touchdown rush and a 31-yard converted field goal by Carranza. They remained patient, and Jones was able to pay off that patience with a pair of touchdown passes.
Great job by the offensive line on both touchdowns. A good job by Jones to settle in down 10-0, find open receivers, take what the defense gives him. And then on the first touchdown, you're down 10-0. Like I said, a flick of the wrist. And Vasquez came up with it, 50-50 ball in the end zone, went high for the tight end, allowed him to go make the play, and then on the second touchdown to take the lead, which got punched in by a 2-point conversion after, it was just a good effort by Fonts to catch it, get to the end zone, and score. And I really like what I saw out of Jaden Jones. We got to see him a couple times so far this year. The loss to Camarillo, he made plays throughout, and then the win last week against Ventura, when things went his way from the start. In this game, things did not go his way early. Remember the first possession, they started off in Tritons territory, lost 15 yards and had to punt. Second possession, they didn't get 15 yards, so they were negative yardage, down 10-0 with the ball, touchdown. Got the ball back again, touchdown. A great job by this offense to make plays and thus build the 5-point lead at the break.
And for Pacifica, some early mistakes, especially by their offensive line. And Coach Moon told us coming in that he felt his team was untested. And you can also somewhat glean that the intensity of this game and maybe some anxiety setting in as those early mistakes started to melt off after a rushing touchdown by Bouchard and then that field goal as well. But that discipline ultimately hurting them, that lack of discipline ultimately hurting them and providing opportunities for this Yellowjackets bunch.
A good job by this Oxnard defense, specifically Titus Hutchinson, one of the outside linebackers, making plays, sure tackling. Remember, one play we might look back at and really remember late in the second quarter was when you had Brad Bouchard, the starting middle linebacker, heads up, getting ready to drill Jaden Jones and make a tackle, which would have forced a third and medium. And what's Jones do? Escapes it, picks up a first down, and next thing you know, they're inside the 10 and score a touchdown. If he makes a sure tackle there, that's a difference. On the other hand, Oxnard's defense were making sure tackles. Grant Ennis, Titus Hutchinson, Isaiah Garcia made several big plays. And then on the secondary, Franco, Aranda, Samuel Barboza, all those guys made plays. Barboza nearly cost his team there with points with the late penalty, but they got out unscathed. So a really good job by the Oxnard defense. We know how talented Johnson and Sherrod are and how dangerous they are in open space, and the Yellowjackets defense did a good job against them.
Oxnard, in their past 21 PVL games, have allowed an average of 10 points by the opposition. Pacifica has 10 right now, 14 last week against Ventura. So the defense has bent but not broke as Xavier Harris just watched the ball hop in front of him following the kick by Scooter Carranza, and it will be the Yellowjackets offense taking the field to begin this third quarter of play. And as we said, Jones so composed in that first half. He was able to connect with Fred Vasquez III, the senior, on a 16-yard touchdown pass late in the first quarter of action to make it 10-7, and then late in the second frame of play, it was a 9-yard touchdown flip to Aaron Fonts, and then a 2-point conversion good by Harris to make it 15-10. And Jones and company will scurry out of their huddle, and Jones will have his highlighter yellow cleats in between the hashes, closest to the left hashes though, and in motion from left to right, it will be Aaron Fonts. He'll sweep across the 20, 25, and he's finally tripped up after a gain of about 5 yards on the run. And it's Pup Aina with the tackle.
Good job on that play by Fonts. They faked it to Lamalu earlier on that jet sweep. They faked it to Fonts. This time they go with the wide out. Good 6-yard gain, 2nd and 4. And we've seen a run-first approach for both teams. But when there's been balance, it's been better balanced by Oxnard than we've seen for Pacifica tonight on offense.
Jones will have Ayala right behind him, and in the deep back will be Xavier Harris. Harris, handoff towards the left side, dances off the left hip, right hip of the left tackle, and will scurry forward for 7 yards and a first down.
Good job, pickup of 7, only needed 4. And now this offensive line is starting to show its dominance. And on the other side, there are some players. We've mentioned Devin Alpu, Vika Aina, Quentin Polar, Albert Franco. Those are big bodies. But this 3-3-5 defense relies so much on the second level. Papa Aina's been quiet. Brad Bouchard, again, has missed some tackles. And Caleb McCullough, as good as he's been, they're kind of running away from him and limiting the amount of tackles that Caleb McCullough can do. So a good job by this offensive line to run away from the star defensive player.
Jones, design run, uses his left hand as a stiff arm, crosses the 45, maintains his balance, 50, 45, 40, 35, finally dragged down from behind at the 34-yard line of Pacifica, picking up 33 yards on the run.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily sure. I looked over to the crowd on the other side where all the Triton students are, and they were kind of cheering. Maybe they were just happy they made the tackle and he didn't break it for a score, but it was interesting. Right now, all of the noise is coming from this side and from the Oxnard side, which is where we are headquartered. It's a little bit quieter over on that Triton sideline. As the last 2 times Jaden Jones and this offense has gotten the ball, touchdown. They're looking pretty good here.
After a surging 33-yard run, Jones will catch a breather on the sideline. Harris will spell him, running this wildcat set with Fonts, now motioning towards the right side of the formation. He's lined up one-on-one towards the bottom of your screen. Here's Harris. He'll keep it himself. Tries to duck towards the right side, dives, and he crosses the 30-yard line to the 28 for 5 yards, maybe 6 yards, depending on the spot, on the first down.
Good game. And as you said, it's able to spell the quarterback a little bit. Now Jaden Jones is coming back in. Has the little hood underneath his jersey that's over top on the back. Not sure he'll use it at all tonight. But we already mentioned the fashion statement last week with the yellow cleats. Now he's going with the hood as well. So each week he's adding to his overall wardrobe.
You got to outfit the IG with good picks.
Exactly. And if you could knock off your crosstown undefeated rival in a Pacific View League game, even better.
Under center will be Jones in a split back set with J.J. Ayala towards the right side of the formation. And it is Ayala, the 5'10", 215-pound behemoth, as he tries to rocket his way forward, but then he's rocked backwards by a herd of Tritons.
Yeah, good job by the Tritons front, making the play there, limiting the amount of yardage. It's 3rd and short. Oxnard moving the football well, but a good job on that stop. Instead of it going for the normal 5, 6, 7 yards a pop like they've been getting on this possession, only about 1, maybe 2 yards. And now it's a 3rd and very crucial here for Oxnard.
James Fetzer, the guard, the junior guard at that, will sub out. Jones comes out in the shotgun set. Ayala towards his left hip. Hard count. Ball nearly bounces off the turf. Pump fake by Jones. He'll peel left. Keeps it and runs. Tries to wheel towards the outside of the numbers. And it looks like he's out at about the 24-yard line, and it's enough to move the chains.
Yeah, he just got around that edge, tiptoed down the opposite sideline, top of your screen. Needed about 5, picked up maybe 6, and gets it. And Jaden Jones, that time, the first time all night, we've seen a 4-wide set, and it worked out because 3 wide to the field side, 1 to the boundary, and Jones took off to that boundary side at the top, was able to just tiptoe enough side rope, tight rope on the sideline and get the first down. A great effort by Jaden Jones.
Noah Williams, the senior defensive back for the Tritons, coming in at 6'1", 175, lined up one-on-one against Fonts, who has a 9-yard receiving touchdown tonight. It's a 4-wide receiver set with Tanalu Lamalu, the junior, in the slot. Jones stutter steps in the backfield, and he is dragged down. Caleb McCullough, who else? The 3-star recruit and a senior there on the tackle.
Yeah, Caleb McCullough, the most highly touted player in this game in terms of going to the next level. And like I said, they've been doing a good job of running away from him, limiting the amount of exposure number 22 can get for this defense tonight. But that time, nothing doing. He was able to beat the offensive lineman, get into the backfield, and then throw the running back down. So a great tackle for loss by the big number 22, Caleb McCullough.
McCullough last season, 211 tackles, 13 tackles for losses, 6 sacks, and that, among just being a great character or a person of great character, put him on scouts' radars. Jones looks downfield, frozen rope pass to Fonts, and he reels it in. Touchdown, Yellowjackets! Williams was one-on-one towards the outside. Looks like he was able to gain just enough separation from Williams. Williams lost track of the pigskin, and it landed right in the 6'2 senior's hands.
The Cardinal and gold clad crowd on this side are up on their feet, pumped up. 3 straight drives that lead to a touchdown and a beautiful strike by Jaden Jones. We talk about this being a running team. How about 3 touchdown passes tonight for Jaden Jones? Fonts, you have Harris doing the dirty work, running the football, and then, of course, Vasquez earlier. That was just a great throw, a great catch, and this team continues to dominate on the offensive side. Like I said, it's not going to be 57-6. It's certainly at this point not going to be a blowout on the Pacifica side. Oxnard now with a double-digit lead, Cam.
8-play, 80-yard drive that went 3 minutes, 55 seconds, and capped off with a 25-yard hookup to Aaron Fonts. 22-10, and the Yellowjackets here leading the Pacifica Tritons in the 18th battle for Gonzales Road. And again, this is the Ventura Orthopedics Game of the Week. At Ventura Orthopedics, they offer state-of-the-art technology to ensure their patients receive the best care possible, always staying abreast of the latest development in orthopedic medicine. The doctors and surgeons have been among the first in the community to perform many advanced orthopedic treatments, including total hip replacement. Learn more at VenturaOrtho.com today and let them help you get back in the game. 22-10 the score, with Pacifica trailing by 12 early in this third quarter of action.
Ventura County getting a treat tonight here on the Ventura Orthopedics Game of the Week. 2 of the county's best teams, and they are showing up tonight after the 10-0 deficit. 21 unanswered so far for Oxnard.
Sharaj groups up the squib kick. He's across the 50 into Yellowjackets territory. 30-yard line and out at about the 26-yard line. A terrific return.
Yeah, you want to try to go away from him, and it's just not working out. You have to make sure 20 or 23 do not get the football in the open space, and that has not worked out. When these guys touch the ball, Johnson and Sherrod, they're playmakers, and that time, Pacifica was smart. They know they've been kicking short, so now you have your deep man, Malik Sherrod, run up, get the ball, and next thing you know, they're starting inside the 30-yard line.
Well, Malik Sherrod last week, a 65-yard kickoff return for a touchdown against the Buena Bulldogs. That was one of our VC Stars plays of the week. Make sure to check that out on VCStar.com. Maria comes out in the shotgun set. Handoff Johnson, right side. Hill deep behind his line of scrimmage and tries to swivel across the 30 and is out at the 25-yard line, maybe 2 yards on the first down carry.
Stretched him wide, never allowed a cut up the field. A good job by the Oxnard defense. And sometimes there is the energy that goes towards the offensive side will then feed the defense. I think that's what you're seeing these last couple drives, because the Oxnard defense has looked so much better once the offense put up some points. And that time, we know how dangerous Michael Johnson is. If he can cut, they never allowed him to turn upfield. A great defensive job on first down.
And Isaiah Moon, who has 9 receptions on the season, 1 today, will try to line up in the slot. Maria, high snap, brings it in, helmet level, tries to scurry forward before he is plowed by Yellowjacket.
That was an awkward exchange as Maria nearly lost the football in the backfield. And so instead of potentially handing it off or throwing a quick pass, he just had to take it upfield, got a hit at the line of scrimmage, and picked up 2 yards going forward.
So only a 1 yard pickup on that second down. And we've seen Carranza nail a 31-yard field goal and then a 34-yard PAT. Missed a 50-yarder as we hit intermission, and that was kind of the Hail Mary kick for this club. On the season, he's 4 of 5 on the year, so if you get a little bit closer, this is good territory to kick. Johnson on the reverse. That was sniffed out, and nowhere to go for Johnson as Jacob Murillo, the senior nose tackle, flashes towards the far side of the field, and all 230 pounds makes the tackle.
Yeah, a nose tackle getting out in space against Michael Johnson and throwing him down. You don't see that much.
No.
You absolutely do not see a nose guard past the hash marks making a play on a speed running back. Did I mention his defense seems a little bit confident right now? That is not. We do a lot of these high school games. Maybe twice a year you see a nose guard even get a hand on a running back outside the hashes, let alone take him down. That was about as good a defensive play as you can hope for there.
Maria with a hard count, trying to realign Sherrod, and there might have been movement along the defensive line,
yes.
And it was encroachment.
Wow. 4th and short, penalty makes it 1st and 10. A crucial penalty for the Yellowjackets.
Big first down. A great hard count by Maria. He clapped his hands together, raised the right knee, looked like he leaned his body forward a little bit, jerked it some, and there was movement along the defensive line and contact made against an offensive player. So big opportunity here for Pacifica, trailing by 12 points with 6:49 remaining in the third quarter to try to narrow the margin on the scoreboard. From the 14-yard line of the Yellowjackets, deep pitch. Here's Sherrod. He'll switch the ball to his left hand, delivers a vicious stiff arm, lowers his shoulder, and he's down at the 15-yard line. He might have lost a yard on the carry as Carlos Barboza, the junior, is there to stymie the run.
Yeah, Barboza gets stiff-armed but keeps up with the running back, able to get his hands around the ankle and toss Sherrod to the ground. Really good effort on both sides there. Barboza and Sherrod, two guys that near the sideline right in front of us earlier had the words, eventually led to a personal foul. This time they both play hard. One makes the play, but the other one also gives a little bit of the punishment. That's the way you want it in these rivalry games.
Maria will come out in a 2-by-2 set. Wilson toward the bottom of the formation, flings it on the out route toward the right side. Johnson picks up maybe 5 yards and will bring up a third down, and it's Jaden Franco who subbed in last week at outside linebacker, now at strong safety, his original position, since Grant Ennis, the junior linebacker, is back in action for Oxnard.
A great job by Franco.
And 5:30 remaining in this third quarter of play as Maria is not on the field. It's Bouchard who will line up, and to his left is Johnson, and a flag comes in. And it looks to be potentially either a delay of game or it's going to be maybe 12 men on the field. It will make it a third down and 11, 5:18 left in this third quarter of play. 12-point edge for the Oxnard Yellowjackets. And Kent, I have to ask, right now, Pacifica number 4 in Division 6 action. As for Oxnard, number 3 in Division 5 action. Both of these teams fell last year to South Hill in the D6 playoffs. South Hill eventually winning the championship. Pacifica falling respectively in the semifinals. Oxnard at the championship. I mean, these two teams have shown out tonight. Do you feel like they can reach their championship aspirations this year?
I think both teams have the ability to beat anybody one game scenario. So yes, I do think there's a chance. Clearly they have to play good, sharp football, but it's there for the taking if they play their A game.
And Maria, an incomplete pass. He looked towards the right side as the pressure was barreling towards him. And Jarrell Samuels, the senior cornerback, was there with the pass breakup.
Fourth down, and this is a huge down, 11-point deficit at this point, or sorry, I should say a 12-point deficit, 22-10. And if they don't get a first down here or a touchdown, this becomes Oxnard's game to lose for sure. If the Pacifica Tritons can get this, well, they're going to kick the field goal here.
Make it a 9-point game still. That's pretty interesting. Still under 5 left in the third quarter. Ample time.
Yeah, there's still a lot of time.
Carranza will attempt the 32-yard field goal and has no problem dunking that one in. His second converted field goal of the contest, and that will make it 22-13. Pacifica still trailing on the quote-unquote road as they're only 3 miles away from their high school.
It's the road, though.
Here on the 18th battle for Gonzales Road. And this is VCStar.com, and today's broadcast is a product of the Ventura County Star, your local leader in high school sports for the Ventura County area. To support this broadcast and all of the year-round sports coverage by the sports team at the Star, sign up for a print or digital subscription to the Ventura County Star. Visit subscribe.vcstar.com to see all of our special offers.
Yeah, I think when you look at the Ventura County area tonight, as we mentioned, a few games had to be canceled because of the fires and the weather and just everything that went on the last couple days here. And obviously our thoughts and prayers are with those affected. A couple just miles away from here, some of it went down. But we are here tonight to celebrate high school football between two great rivals going at it head-to-head. And we are, I think, in a treat for a great fourth quarter and a close to the Ventura Orthopedics game of the week.
Harris stabilizes himself and crosses the 29 and is down at his own 30-yard line, a 25-yard return for the senior halfback who in the offseason was working with a local legend in Lorenzo Booker. I mean, this guy was a Titan in the southern section. He's the Federation's career leader in scoring, 882 points, rushing touchdowns, 137, second in rushing yards, 8,500. Great guy to work with. And it seems that it's really helped develop Harris's game coming off what was a video game-like numbers he was putting up last season.
Yeah, you have a really good quarterback in Jaden Jones that doesn't make many mistakes, and a great running back in Xavier Harris to hand it off to. And then tonight when you needed the receivers to step up, they have. Vasquez and Fonts have been huge in the passing game.
Harris tries to work his way inside before he's stoned by a pair of Tritons.
What I don't like about the field goal call, though, I know it's only the third quarter, so realistically, you get a stop and a score, then it's game on. But that still makes it 2 possessions. That doesn't make it a 1-possession game. If it was 21-10, I get it. But the fact that it was 22-10 and you're in 4th and short, I kind of like to go for it there because I'm not sure the field goal means that much unless you can shut them out the rest of the way. But even with that said, you still need 2 touchdowns no matter what.
Second and 10. 4 minutes flat remaining in this third quarter, and the play will be blown dead. A timeout used by the Yellowjackets following Harris's run for no yards. And as we have discussed Harris, how about on the opposite side of the things for Malik Sherrod? He's been a driving force for this team last season, as we had mentioned before. 1,400 rushing yards, 14 rushing touchdowns, 16 total touchdowns at the end of his junior campaign, but he's been offered by Air Force and he's been garnering interest from around the area. Right now, a top 5 rusher in Ventura County, such a terrific physical specimen. And Coach Moon, again, just like RJ Maria, said, hey, this guy is going to be a key cog to our offense. He does things right, and we want to ensure he gets his touches. But for Coach Moreno, he's done a nice job tonight making sure he has to run in between the tackles.
And what I also like about Malik Sherrod is in the next level, that slot back position is going to be perfect for him. He's a tough kid. He's physical. He runs between the tackles well, but you see him in space. He is a tough guy to bring down, and those are good linebackers going up against him tonight. I think Oxnard's defense has done a very good job against him, but there's been a few times, I don't care who you are, whether you're all county, whether you're one of the best linebackers in the area, he is just very difficult to bring down, and he seems to always make a couple guys miss. And then on the Oxnard side, Xavier Harris is right there too. These are 2 really high-level skill position teams.
Jones, pressure coming up the gut. He will peel right. Pump fake, has a little bit of space across his own 35 to the 36-yard line. Caleb McCullough, the senior, there on the tackle. McCullough also shared some words earlier this week with VCStar.com, and he said, I've never beaten Oxnard before. I want to get that done before I leave here. Between he, Opu, and if you toss in Bouchard this season, about 132 tackles, 16 tackles for loss, and 5 sacks. That linebacking core is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, these guys are great. And even then tonight, Jaden Jones and a couple of these offensive players like Xavier Harris have made it difficult for them.
9-yard run by Jones. Pup Ina will realign for the defense along the right side. It's Harris. He slogs forward, battles past the 40 to the 42-yard line, and the 5 yards is more than enough to pick up a new set of downs.
Good job by the offensive line there, knowing the blocking scheme, executing it, and allowing the offense to get the first down. And what that does now, it does build the clock. When you have a 2-score lead, the clock becomes your friend. Not that you need to play the clock if you're Oxnard, but you don't mind taking your time on these plays and letting it run down 35, 40 seconds. So in no hurry is Jaden Jones in this offense right now. The execution's been great. Again, the last 3 times they've had the ball, Cam, they scored touchdowns on all of them. If they can do it again, it becomes a great chance to win.
Handoff Harris after the ball was excavated from near the turf by Jones, and Harris will get back to the line of scrimmage. And maybe 1 or 2 yards actually after the spot of the football.
Jaden Jones looks like, I don't know if his hands are very wet or what. He's been trying to wipe his hands off this big Gatorade towel the last couple of drives or last couple of plays. The head ref came in and said, you got to get this towel out of here. It can't be on the playing field. And now seems a little bit frustrated. They're going to have to probably attach a towel to the back of his pants there or in the front or something, because clearly he was upset about that decision.
The junior Donovan Abear is lined up at wideout now. He'll move from right to left. Ayala comes on a fullback screen, lowers his shoulder, but that one was snuffed out, and Pup Ina, the senior, a scorching run to the football and an immediate stop.
Yeah, look, he wants a towel again. There it is. There's a little red one. He's just trying that, as we said, a new accessory maybe to his overall portfolio. Now he puts a cardinal-colored towel in the back of his uniform and clearly was not happy about. I don't know if maybe one of the Pacifica players ripped it off of him and he didn't know where his towel went. But either way, as a quarterback, that becomes in your head. If you watch those last few snaps, the second he hands the ball off, he's looking at the sideline for a towel. That's not where you want to be during the play.
Font with hot pink gloves as his left foot is saddled along his own 45 on a 3rd down and 7 with under a minute left in the third. Jones orchestrating the offense, looks right side, ball deflects off of Fonz's hands. He was at his own 49. I don't think he would have picked up the first down either as the defense came flying in.
He might have had a chance. It depends on if he can turn upfield. I bragged so much earlier about how Fonz was so sure-handed, and he is. But that time, there was some zip on the pass, but that's a play that Fonz would love to have back because he makes that catch 98 out of 100 times, and that time it just went right through his hands, out of bounds. It didn't put the team in danger. It's not like there was a player there to pick it off, but what should have been a high percentage throw near the sticks was not being able to be executed, and now, for the first time in 4 possessions, there's a punt for the Oxnard Yellowjackets.
Hunter Rapp with the punt that will take a graceful bound to the 25, continue to waddle forward across the 20 to the 16-yard line of Pacifica with 40 seconds remaining in this third quarter of play. A 22-13 lead for the Oxnard Yellowjackets at home in our Ventura Orthopedics Game of the Week, where Ventura Orthopedics is proud to support the collegiate and high school athletic teams in the community. The doctors serve as team physicians for most of the high school and college sports programs in the area. Whether assisting with game injuries or cheering for players from the sidelines, the doctors at Ventura Orthopedics consider it a privilege to be a part of the team. Maria and company will come out in a 2-by-2 set, and I believe Kyrie Wilson towards the bottom of the formation. Pump fake by Maria. He'll keep it himself. The tuck and run as he has the ball lined up along his right arm and will duck out of bounds across the 20, maybe 22-yard line in a 5-yard scamper as Anthony Lopez, the junior middle linebacker for the Yellowjackets, ushered Maria out of bounds and gave him a little helmet slap afterwards.
Made Jaden Franco miss in the open field and allowed. It was still a short gain, but what could have been maybe a tackle at the line of scrimmage turned into 3 or 4 yards. So a good job by Maria. And also the pump fake was smart because there was nobody open in the secondary. That time, take what the defense gives you, fight another down, and put yourself in position with really good backs to probably get something done on second down.
Hand off to Sherrod, and his ankle was tied up in the backfield by Jaden Franco, the 5'7" junior. And Franco last week was all over the field. He had an interception against Ventura, and now is able to hound Sherrod in the backfield with 18 seconds and running in this third quarter of play.
And I mentioned Franco missed the tackle on the last play.
And Sherrod goes down near his own goal line. And I don't want to speculate, but I thought I saw his ankle kind of be twisted up by Franco. But with that, it is 22-13, a 9-point lead for the Yellowjackets. 11 seconds remaining in this third quarter of play. And the Yellowjackets just executing well through the air. And as we mentioned coming into this half, Jones was able to find Vasquez for the first touchdown on Oxnard side, then Fonz, and he hooked up on a 9-yard connection to make it 15-10. And then yet again, Fonz, a 25-yard breadbasket catch to make it 22-10 earlier in the third quarter, and now late in this third quarter of play, it's 22-13 following the Carranza 32-yard field goal. But the secondary for Pacifica, though at times they've done a nice job stalling out the Yellowjackets offense, they've done here and there just some missed opportunities, and Jones been able to exploit that.
Well, now I think what you're going to have to see going forward is a lot of Michael Johnson getting carries in the backfield. And the fact that we're going to the fourth quarter and it's a 9-point deficit and it's third and very long, that is a tough position for RJ Maria and this Tritons team to have to be in going to the fourth frame.
Well, after that 3-yard loss by Sherrod, the time will expire. I believe Coach Moon said let the clock run, or rather there was the official timeout, but play resumed and the clock ran down to 0 in the third quarter. So we will start with the top of the fourth quarter of play in a 22-13 game in the battle for Gonzales Road. Again, Pacifica towards the east side of Gonzales Road, Oxnard towards the west side of Gonzales Road. And this is the 18th time these teams have battled for the right to call Gonzales Road just a one-way street. And so far it's favoring the Yellowjackets, who coming into this game 5-1 on the season. Their lone loss, a 1-point falter to Camarillo. Maria with Johnson to his right. Will peel. Almost slips, flings it out. Johnson 1v1 on the outside, makes a man miss, maintains his balance, cut towards the outside of the numbers. He has a little bit of daylight, 50, 45, slashes back inside across the 40-yard line of the Yellowjackets and down at the 38.
Well designed, and that's where you just hope your playmaker can make a man miss. He did on the outside, was able to get the first down. If that's a tackle in open space, it's a punt on fourth down. Instead, Johnson does a great job to get the huge gain.
45-yard pickup on the sweeping pass towards the left side of the field. Handoff, I believe, is to Johnson again as he makes his way across the 20, strong-arming and carrying a pile across the 10 to about the 8-yard line for almost 30 yards.
That's one way to do it.
Hurry-up offense. That run was by Quinton Pooler, I beg your pardon, the senior.
Yeah, Pooler, a little bit more of a power back.
Pooler up the middle and still trying to muscle his way up the middle, and he's right at the 2-yard line. Another 6-yard run.
Yeah, Pooler, 6 foot, 200-pounder, bulldozed his way forward to pick up over 30, and then this time gets them inside the 5.
Here it is. 2nd and goal from the 2-yard line of the Yellowjackets. Why not feed him again inside? And he is in for 6. The senior Pooler will score with 10:52 remaining in the contest, and it is 22-19. Pacifica now only trailing by a triple.
Great job, great execution. You lose your starting tailback in Malik Sherrod, and what do you do the next play on 4th and long? You throw the screen to the outside, trust your playmaker, Michael Johnson, makes a man miss, gets past midfield, and then 3 power rushes by Quinton Pooler, who was the 3rd-string guy, backup running back, but basically 3rd behind Johnson and Sherrod. And now you were just an extra point away from being within a field goal.
And that one is good by Carranza to make it 22-20 with 10:52 remaining in this ball game. And that entire drive, the catalyst was Maria making sure he maintained his balance this time. We've seen him slip a couple times with those cleats. Looked towards the left side of the field, and Johnson was able to make a couple men miss in the open field, picked up 45 yards, and then just sledgehammered it inside with the senior pooler, and he forced his way into the end zone.
Great job when you needed it the most. You're down 9. They were down in this game by 12 points, and now it's 3. It's a huge 2-point difference. So you get the field goal, you get the touchdown. Your defense made a stop for the first time in well over an hour of real time. Now there is some building towards if we can get another stop, you get the ball back. And for Oxnard, you have to look at this as this is kind of the game right now. If you can go down and then answer and get a touchdown, you're up 9 points again, and you feel good about the fourth quarter. But it is a huge must-score drive for the Yellowjackets here.
And Coach Moon, when he took that field goal, exuding confidence that his Tritons would go back down and score, and the change in tempo really catching this Yellowjacket team off guard.
Yeah, for Oxnard here, don't even treat like you're up. Treat like you're down and you need points here.
Harris from his 10 will work outside the left half mark at the 20, at the 30, 35, 40, maintains his balance, and he works along the sideline. He tight ropes it. 10, 5, touchdown, Yellowjackets. A 90-yard touchdown return for Xavier Harris.
I said you needed points. I didn't necessarily know it would come on special teams. That is one way to build the lead back up. Get the score, a 90-yard return. Xavier Harris, we talked so much about Sherrod and Johnson being great return men. How about Xavier Harris? He's not bad himself.
Not at all. Coming into this game, he was second in the county in points scored. He had 98 entering today, and that is his first points of the contest, so that puts him over 100 on the season and makes it 28-20. And Estrada's PAT is good, and what a backbreaker, now 29-20, back to that 9-point edge for the Yellowjackets here on the Ventura Orthopedics Game of the Week and on bcstar.com. And here at Ventura County Star, your local leader in high school sports for Ventura County. To support this broadcast and all of the year-round sports coverage by the sports team at the Star, sign up for a print or digital subscription to the Ventura County Star. Visit subscribe.bcstar.com to see all of our special offers.
The extra point was huge there because the extra point now gives it a 2-score game, and with just 10:37 remaining, if you can play good football on both sides, 2 scores is probably enough to get the W. Now, it was a quick drive because it was just a return, but that PAT, if missed, things are still 1 score. The PAT's added a 9-point edge and a huge statement. I said they need to treat that like a must score. I thought I meant on offense. It turns out the offense can still sit down. They don't even have to come into the game. Xavier Harris says, I got this. How about him tight roping the sideline right here on our side, and the Oxnard crowd, as soon as he got to midfield, unless he tripped, it was 6. So a great job from the senior running back who, he's smart. He's able to tightrope. He might end up playing in the Ivy League. So he knows how to make a man miss and then keep his balance. And when he got past the 50, it was just daylight ahead and a score.
His first kickoff return for a touchdown this season. And as you said, in the Ivy League, he's receiving offers and interest from Columbia up in New York. So not only a terrific athlete on the field, but a great scholar in the classroom, and best of luck to him as it is 10:37 remaining in this ballgame, 29-20 in the edge for the Yellowjackets, who prevailed last year in the 17th battle for Gonzales Road, 24-14, but Coach Moon and company still ample time and talent on their side. And a send-off by Tommy Dory that scooped up at the own 3-yard line by Sherrod. And Sherrod will try to emulate what Harris did. Closing speed by the defense. Sherrod knocked out of bounds. Still decent field position at the 28-yard line of Pacifica.
It's good to see Sherrod back in. He went down last drive. They were able to answer 4 plays later. They score a touchdown, 1 touch on that drive by Michael Johnson, the last 3 by Quentin Puller. So a good job on that drive, bailing out after your running back goes down. But now, all of a sudden, you have your starting tailback in the game, 10-plus minutes remaining. You're going to need an answer here, but having Malik Sherrod back in the game, Cam, gives you much more hope.
Lamalu, one of the safeties, hanging back, but now will come in shallow coverage. Flip left side, caught by Johnson for about 7 yards as Maria was able to release the football quickly. And what's impressed me in these pressure cooker situations, as we see it now, the cadence of the offense has changed, and now we see quick passes to the outside, and Maria seems to be really thriving in situations like these.
This will be the first time all year in the fourth quarter
Maria's
had to make plays.
On the read option, he has enough for the first down, and he is escorted out at his own 39 for 5 yards.
So many times this year, Cam, in the fourth quarter, it's been the backups in. It's been Maria handing the ball off. He has not had to rely on his arm to make plays in the fourth quarter once this season. We knew tonight was almost definitely going to be a hotly contested, close game, and Maria's showing the ability now these last couple drives to deliver big passes.
A quick little out route caught by Johnson for 9 on first down and 10, and it will stop the clock as Johnson, the third, goes out of bounds at 10-11 in what is a 9-point contest. And it was an incomplete pass by Maria.
He must have not got the feet in bounds. It was a good decision to throw it wide, but unfortunately for the Tritons, unable to get the feet in, and instead of 2nd and 1, 2nd and 10.
2nd and 10, still over 10 minutes remaining in the ball game, and a 4-wide set, 2x2 on each side. With the feature back, Sherrod, Maria squirts with a little hole towards the right side of the field. He's at the 50 and is dragged down from behind, and there is a Yellowjacket down at his own 45-yard line, and looks like Jarrell Samuel
picked up the first down. We'll have to see with the injury on the field. But that was a huge gain from R.J. Maria there. Take what the defense gives you, pick up 10 yards, go past midfield. But now you hope for the Oxnard Yellowjackets that the starting cornerback, Jarrell Samuel, hopefully more precautionary than anything too serious.
He had a pass breakup earlier in the game as Maria tried to fit the ball into a tight space against Johnson. At 10:02, 29-20 is the score. The Yellowjackets with the edge. And again, it comes back to just that back-breaking 90-yard touchdown return for Harris, and he's shown how electric he can be in situations like this. Last year, he was only able to total 43 yards, but he did notch in a rushing touchdown. And when Coach Moon and I spoke, he said last year we had Harris bottled up for about 99% of the game. It was that 1% that we took off that they took advantage of us, and he picked up 18, 19 yards, moved the chains, and that more or less effectively sealed the game. So we have to make sure every single down that we're locking up on him. And popping up is Samuel to his feet, walking off the field under his own power. Good to see there.
Very good to see. Hopefully he can come back in the game. Big 6'1", 190-pound cornerback. You want that frame and that size out there, especially a senior veteran. But right now, you have to put in a backup. You'll have to see what your defense does. And look who comes in to replace him, Aaron Fonts. Fonts generally a one-way guy, but when they need him, he can be there at corner.
Pooler acting as the up back for Maria. He sails it left side, and it is incomplete. His intended target was Noel Williams, the senior.
Nice throw. Unfortunate that it just sailed out of bounds. I like the decision there to try to attack the defense deep. The last thing you want to do right now, if you're Pacifica, is just run the football and throw short passes. That allows the defense to really just contain you into the sticks. If you at least show the ability to throw it deep, they have to respect that more.
Maria in a 2x2 set with Sherrod acting as pass coverage at the running back position. Throw towards the left side of the field and nearly at the sticks, maybe the 41-yard line. A catch is made by, I believe, Kyrie Wilson.
Yeah, it'll be 3rd and 1, a good gain. Wilson unable to get to the markers, and now it looks like they will rush to the line of scrimmage here to get the snap off.
4-down territory. Maria handoff to Sherrod. It was bobbled for a moment. It was a low snap, and Sherrod is forced way, way back. And who else but Titus Hutchinson, the 6-foot junior, blowing up the play.
And that's a loss of 1. A great tackle for loss. Hutchinson, number 22, probably outshining Caleb McCullough, the other number 22 for Pacifica tonight. They're both great, but Hutchinson has made so many plays, and that time on 3rd and 1, a huge stuff behind the line of scrimmage. 4th and 2, this is the biggest play of the night.
8:45 remaining in this fourth quarter. Maria was able to get a hard count off for an encroachment. Last time it will be a QB sneak forward, and it looks like he is shy. The defense is saying no.
Yeah, he didn't get it.
He did not get it.
Needed about 2 yards, picked up 1, maybe 1 1/4.
And there's the official signal by the referee. Maria a yard shy. And now the game has been somewhat flipped in favor of the Yellowjackets. Though they are up by 9, that was a pivotal moment that could have swung in the favor of the Tritons. But the Yellowjackets stepping up big time to make the stop.
Play of the game so far, a huge job. 3rd and 1, knockback tackle for loss. 4th and 2. 4th and 2, hold them up for just a 1-yard gain. That is great effort defensively, a great win by the defensive line. And now you take over, up 2 scores with 8.5 left.
Handoff. Harris tries to wiggle his way in between the tackles, bounces off the left tip of the left guard, and gets to his own 41-yard line for a gain of 1 with under 8:30 remaining in the contest and a 9-point edge. And now it will boil down to clock control. Right now, you're up 2 possessions.
Yeah, clock is your best friend at this moment. Don't turn the ball over. Try to get a couple first downs, bleed that clock, and because it's a 2-score game, you are in no hurry to get any snap off. And your offensive line has been superb, where you have scored 3 of your last 4 offensive possessions, so you are moving the football well on the ground.
4-out set. Jones fakes the sweep, and he is dragged down in the backfield at his own 42, and who else but Devin Opue.
Big play by Opue. Junior, offers all over the country, Pac-12, USC. When USC comes calling and you're a junior, you know you have the frame and the ability to make plays, and that was a huge play. It gets them in what I believe to be, about 2nd and 9, so just a 1-yard pickup, and they're going to need, you're at the point now, Cam, if you're Pacifica, you have to start trying to strip the football as much as possible.
And it'll be a personal foul face. I was about to say it would have been a 3rd down and about 12 to go, but a flag was on the field. It was covered by the officials as they were huddled around the dirty laundry near the 42-yard line, and that face mask against the defense, huge.
There's a guy right in front of us here in the crowd, got the Megadeth t-shirt on, and he is pumped. He is amped. He's like being at a metal concert, I'm sure, the way he's reacting here, and I don't blame him. If you're an Oxnard fan right now, you want to see this win. You want to beat your crosstown rival. You want to get that first-place lead in the Pacific View League.
Yep.
And the other crowd, the Tritons, who led 10-0, they're not as loud as they once were, and the crowd in front of us. Big-time environment here tonight at Oxnard High School.
Vasquez the third trying to conduct Fonts. The two were talking to one another. Jones with Ayala as the up back, and to his right is Harris. He'll remain in pass protection. Jones flips it up. Vasquez nearly trying to make a one-handed snag, but unable to do so as Kyrie Wilson, the 5'11 senior, was in coverage. 2nd down and 10.
I'm surprised by the call, but it wasn't bad because you had one-on-one with a guy in Vasquez that you know can make plays. That time unable to bring it in, but Tim Gutierrez is not just going to back away. They're going to try to go for the home run, try to end this game, and that was 1st down.
Now so remain conservative.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's one thing if you just run the football and say we're going to hope the defense misses a tackle, but Vasquez has shown the ability to make those catches, so I understand the call for sure.
Deep pitch, right side, Harris. He'll try to weave back in between the numbers and does just that, and he's down at his own, or rather down to the 44 of Pacifica, 3-yard scamper.
Yeah, 29-20. We are closing in on under 7 minutes left in this fourth quarter, and the Tritons desperate for a turnover at this point, Cam. Again, they have to go all in on trying to strip the football. Anytime you corral a guy at the line of scrimmage and you're holding him up, try to knock that ball away and force a turnover because you now need 2 scores. You have a really reliable field goal kicker that can get you 1, but time is wearing out and your offense is a run-first offense, so huge advantage here for Oxnard.
Harris, nearest receiver towards the left side of the formation as Vasquez the third now lines up towards the left side. Jones keeps his feet moving, tries to look upfield. A flag is down, and Opie is there for the sack. And we'll see what the flag is. It probably was holding as it was at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, you had Albert Franco, Devin Opue, and then Caleb McCullough all in the backfield. Don't know if it's holding. I guess we will find out officially. It is holding on the offense. I think you take that penalty, even though it would be 4th and long. No, in fact, I think you'll decline this and make it 4th and long. There's no reason to even let them have a chance at another 3rd down.
And that's exactly what Coach Moon will do, and Pacifica will tell Oxnard we will happily receive the ball if you will punt it to us. Otherwise, Opue and company have a mission to get into the backfield as Bubba Nunnerly as well as Michael Johnson back to return this punt. Johnson lined up closer to the 30. Nunnery back at his own 23.
You tell your punter here, kick it as far as you can and left, away from Michael Johnson.
Wrap from his own 45, and this one will be drilled directly to Johnson. Johnson shakes off one defender, hesitates, fakes inside, cuts back outside, but he is stumped and stopped at his own 24-yard line. Ran a long ways for maybe a 1-yard pickup. 5:47 remaining in this 4th quarter of play. 29-20 is the score as Pacifica will come back out onto the field. R.J. Maria may be called on more later in this contest now that we've hit basically point max here for this club. They need 9 points and need to do it in a short amount of time.
Also, whatever trick plays you have in the bag, whatever type of off-balance plays you can get where the defense goes one way and you can get them guessing the opposite of where the ball's going, you have to pull out all the stops. This is the first 4-wide set we've seen all night from Pacifica.
Swing pass, right side. Caught by Sherrod, and he'll tiptoe out of bounds to the 25, and that's smart to stop the clock at 5:40 left in the 4th. 29-20 is the score.
Yeah, it's good to see Sherrod, as we mentioned last possession, back out on the field. Expect a heavy dose of Malik Sherrod and Michael Johnson the rest of the way. We know Nunnery, Wilson, Farmer, Williams, those are all guys, 3 of which have Division I offers. But at the same point, R.J. Maria, we said, has not been in this position all season, and we'll have to see how he performs.
Maria will find Wilson on a quick dig route. He's across his own 45 to his 48, maybe 47, and picks up 22 yards.
Good gain. Nice job by Wilson to turn upfield, get his shoulders down, put the defensive player into his back, and get about 3 or 4 extra yards.
Farmer at the bottom of your screen. Maria will roll out. He sees a little bit of daylight. He's at the 50 and into Yellowjacket territory, and out at the 49-yard line, and a scary collision along the sideline. Jaden Franco tried to leap and make a tackle, and he ran into one of his teammates, and now a late flag comes out.
I don't know if this is going to be another unsportsmanlike. They threw it on the sidelines, which would indicate either, a coach or a player or somebody did something.
And a personal foul going against the Yellowjackets, and that can be a monumental break for this Pacifica club with under 5:30 remaining in the contest, 29-20, and the Tritons trailing by 9.
Yeah, you still have the 2-score lead, but on the other hand, 15 yards after you saw 22-yard gain, 12-yard gain, 5-yard rush, yards are adding up, and now they're knocking on the door of the 30-yard line with plenty of time remaining.
From the 32 of the Yellowjackets, 4 wideouts. Pooler, the lone back behind Maria. Handoff to Pooler as he tries to muscle his way forward to the 28, but he stopped at the 30, and Hutchinson is there for the tackle. And you have to be extremely impressed by the closing speed of these Yellowjacket linebackers.
Oh, Hutchinson's A effort tonight. Great job by the outside linebacker, the junior for Oxnard. And on the other hand, we are now under 5 minutes left. That's a huge play. That wasted about 30 seconds.
Maria is able to connect with a wide open Zavon Farmer, and he tries to cut back inside the numbers. He does, and is down at the 14-yard line of the Yellowjackets, a 16-yard gain.
Huge play. Farmer getting in the open field, and they're going hurry up once again.
Maria looks left. Fluttering pass. Left side of the end zone broken up. And the intended target on the play was Noel Williams, the senior, and broken up by Carlos Barboza, the junior DB.
Yeah, good job by Barboza there to be able to get his hands in. A really good job from the secondary. And This is going to be, you almost feel back against the wall right now. If this defense can make a stand. Now, Pacifica is in field goal range. They have an outstanding field goal kicker. They still have all 3 timeouts remaining. If they don't get a touchdown here, they will kick the field goal and get within a score. But on the other hand, this is huge stand-up type of territory for the secondary.
Pooler to the left of Maria, in motion from right to left is Nunnery. Nunnery slashes inside, works back along the left seam, and he is down at the 2, maybe 1 yard line. A 13-yard scamper by Nunnery.
Bubba Nunnery, 1st and goal inside the 1.
Maria. 2-by-2 set. Pooler marches inside, and he is in for a touchdown as he bashed his way along the right hip of the center, just on your typical, hey, we're going to beat you up front play.
Quentin Pooler, 2nd scorer. Good job. Back-to-back possessions that the big 6', 200-pound senior running back gets the short yardage carry, gets in, and what a drive in relative short order with just 4:26 remaining, and now a PAT away from being back within 2, and then all the pressure going back on this Oxnard offense. Great drive from the Pacifica offense. We thought we'd be in for a treat tonight, Cam, and we have been.
Carranza with Maria as the holder. Snap, hold, kick is up, and it is good. So within a field goal are the Tritons with 4:26 remaining in the contest here at the Ventura Orthopedics Game of the Week, with 20 doctors in 5 locations in Ventura County, all with one goal in mind: to get you back in the game. Ventura Orthopedics specializes in sports medicine, general orthopedics, pain management, pediatric, and MRI. Ventura Orthopedics offers exceptional therapy services featuring 26 highly skilled physical and occupational therapists. Learn more at venturaortho.com or call to schedule an appointment at 800-698-1280. It was a 7-play, 79-yard drive that lasted 1 minute and 31 seconds, resulting in the Pooler 2-yard rushing touchdown to make it 29-27.
We said that RJ Maria, for the first time, is going to have to test his arm in the 4th quarter. That was a heck of a test, and he passed it on that drive, making plays, throwing it to open receivers, putting it in tight windows, and then allowing his playmakers to make the play inside the 15-yard line, ultimately punched in by Quentin Pooler. A great drive from RJ Maria after we weren't sure how he would respond having to pass this late in the game, down 2 scores.
A skying squib kick reeled in by Fonts at his own 30. He tries to work towards the left side of the field and slips, and now the whistle's blown, plays dead, and it looks like the ball will be spotted at about the 35-yard line. And now I wonder if there's a discussion if Fonts had called a fair catch at his own 30.
That's what they're saying, yes.
And if that's the case, you'll move Fonts back about 5 yards. And that's what it is, I'm fairly certain, with 4:22 remaining in the 4th quarter of play, 29-27. Oxnard leading at home. And Jones will mosey over to the sideline to talk with Tim Gutierrez. And actually, Jones will stay sidelined, and it looks as if Harris will run the Wildcat, and that is the case.
Interesting decision. Harris is a guy you can trust with the ball in his hands, but you do take away the passing ability of your quarterback.
Harris on the keeper, works right, tries to work left, will stay right along the hash marks and stopped at the 31. No gain in a timeout used by Pacifica with 4:15 remaining in the 4th quarter of action, and a good first down play by Pacifica rushing to the football. We've seen that Wildcat formation a couple times, and I understand for Coach Gutierrez and Coach Moreno to keep the clock moving, but Harris has been pretty ineffective from that formation.
Yeah, it's one of those deals where you wonder if Jones is maybe injured of some sorts, just because I don't understand why you wouldn't have him in here, knowing the fact that he's been so reliable passing the football tonight and running it. It's not like he's put the ball on the ground and has had 3 fumbles where you just don't want to risk a fumble. He has been reliable carrying the football, been reliable through the air, and I don't know if it was just they saw something scheme-wise and said, let's have Harris take the first snap, but it would surprise me. If he's not in on this play, you have to start to question if Jones is injured, because otherwise I cannot imagine you wouldn't have him in, and it does look like Jaden Jones is back in the game, which does make sense.
With that crimson towel dangling out of his backside of the pants with 4:15 left in the contest. 2nd down and 10. Jones under center. Harris the deep back. He cuts left side, 30, 35, and almost at the 40-yard line. And he is out at the 39 for about 8 yards.
How about the right guard, Juan Ramos, getting upfield, coming over, pull block, and just beating the defensive back, the Falcon safety, Willie Dillon, and that allowed Xavier Harris space to pick up about 7.5, 8 yards. So a really good job by the offensive line, specifically Juan Ramos on that play.
And I'm interested why Harris went out of bounds. I know you're working with the short side of the field, but if you fall even 3 yards shy of the 1st down compared to 2, you're going to keep the clock rolling. Harris will take the snap, looks left, under his own volition, goes across the 40 to the 42-yard line, and it moves the chains, a gain of 3.
Huge gain there. Not necessarily the biggest gain of the night, but one of the most important gains of the night. Stays in bounds this time, keeps the chains, keeps the clock rolling, and now we are under 4 minutes left. And this is when you practice those 4-minute drills. Sometimes it's to win a game, sometimes it's to close a game and ice it, knowing you're up. And that is exactly what Jaden Jones, Xavier Harris, Aaron Fonts, Tanelu Lamalu, John Vasquez, Fred Vasquez, all these playmakers are trying to do. But remember these 5 offensive linemen, if they do their job, chances are the playmakers will do theirs.
Each side with 2 timeouts remaining, 3:35 remaining in the ball game. Fonts comes on the end around. It's a fake. Handoff to Harris at the 45. Hit along the left shoulder. He'll fall forward across the 50 to the 49-yard line of the Tritons. A great run by Harris.
Yeah, good 9-yard gain. Clock continues to move. Sets up 2nd and 1. And a great job that time on the fake. They fake the Fonts. The defense moves that way, and then you give it to Harris up the gut. And what does he do? He uses his speed, makes 2 men miss, and gets about 9 yards.
And Jones and company will just hang out in the huddle with 3 minutes left in the contest. Up 2 in the 18th battle for Gonzales Road. East versus West, the 6-0 Tritons on the east side. Oxnard 5-1, looking for their 2nd league win and their 6th win overall in the season. Jones has daylight. 35-30, 25-20, 15-10, 5, touchdown Yellowjackets! And Jones with an absolutely immaculate 50-yard rushing touchdown. And yet again, it was the bend but don't break mentality for Pacifica. However, they broke.
Jaden Jones, we said he's made good decisions both through the air and on the ground. He had 3 passing touchdowns earlier. Now he adds a rushing touchdown into the mix. And when you needed that back-breaking play, Jones gets it. Quarterback keeper goes the distance, and that should be the icing on the cake as the Yellowjackets add the PAT. What a run by Jaden Jones. What a game. And I know on the drive up we discussed how you said it's almost like Tim Gutierrez, the offensive coordinator, and Jaden Jones are telepathy. They finish each other's sentences. Their thoughts are the same. Tim Gutierrez allows his quarterback to make that decision. He makes the right call, keeps it on the quarterback keeper, and scampers in for the score in what should be the biggest score of the night and the biggest score of his young career here at Oxnard.
Estrada, the kick, as you said, Kent, is good to push it to a 9-point lead. So 2 possessions once again, and that's been what the Tritons have been attempting to overcome this half, just that 9-point edge back and forth. The touchdown, which has been responded every time by the Yellowjackets, whether it's been on special teams or the offensive side of things.
You have to a slow start offensively. This offense has been lights out. 4 touchdowns in their last 5 possessions, and then the big special team score by Xavier Harris. So just a great effort all around after a slow first quarter.
5-play, 69-yard drive that lasted 1 minute, 47 seconds. And here's Tommy Dory with a sky-high kick. That's scooped it by Sherrod, but he loses it off his jersey and off his chest pads. He'll try to wind up across his own 15, does, but is down at the 17-yard line. Nearly a blunder. Not much doing it there for Sherrod, as the morale of Pacifica might be at an all-time low, trailing 36-27 with 2.5 minutes remaining in the ball game. But 2 timeouts still to the name of Coach Moon.
2 timeouts, and R.J. Maria was sharp on its last possession. Michael Johnson, Nunnery Wilson, Farmer Williams, all reliable weapons on the outside. And then we know between Puller and Sherrod, those guys can make plays. The difference is now it's strictly pass first. You take a run, you have to get out of bounds. A lot of time, to move the football. The problem is you are down 9 points, which means you have to have a quick strike just like last possession.
Farmer, who had a 16-yard catch last drive, is at the bottom of your screen. Maria looks to the left side. Johnson III catches it, tries to swivel back in between the hash marks, does. Stopped along the left hash mark at his own 26 for 9 yards, and he remains in bounds.
Nice gain, but as you said, clock winds, so ultimately you're not going to feel too upset if you're Oxnard.
9-yard pickup, 2:05 left in the game. 4 wide set, Maria, head fake, looks to the right side of the field. Isaiah Moon caught it, but then lost it, and it's recovered by the Yellowjackets. Isaiah Moon had the ball in his mitts, and it was stripped out, and it was recovered by Trust Hunt, the junior defensive lineman, and a late flag comes out, and I believe the strip was by Jacob Maria, who we mentioned earlier. The very, very speedy, celerity-driven nose guard is there for the strip.
Yeah, that's going to be on the Oxnard coaches. They had, I don't know if it's the head coach or one of the coaches, somebody was on the field, like right next to where the fumble occurred, celebrating as the referees pointed in Oxnard's direction. You can't be there. You can't be up where the 30-yard line is, where the marker is, the paint on the field. Ultimately, it's pretty much game over at this point, but you know how coaches kind of rip the players a little bit in film study on Saturdays? They might have to take one for the team there and say, hey, that's our bad. We shouldn't be in that position. But I understand it. You're excited. It's a crosstown rival. You're up against the undefeated Pacifica Tritons. It's not really going to change the game to get the penalty, but clearly what a big-time play cam from this defense. There haven't been many turnovers. This has been a pretty well-played, nice football game in terms of clean play, but that time, fumble by Moon, recovery from Trust Hunt, and with 9-point lead, it's almost just about time for Oxnard to get their 6th win.
Harris across the 40 to the 39-yard line, and a helmet is lost at the end of the play. Matthew Cortez, the 6'2 junior who works at that left guard position, had lost his head covering equipment. And with 1:51 remaining in the contest, and after the infraction against Oxnard, the Yellow Jacket fan base cladded in crimson and all working in front of us with their hands waving, jumping up and down, and were raucous just a few moments ago, are excited for their 6th win, which is right on the horizon, up 9 points, 36-27. And this will be back-to-back victories for Oxnard against Pacifica should this hold. 24-14 last year, now 36-27. And what was early on Pacifica's ball game as they dictated the pace of the offense and really worked the defensive line of the Yellowjackets, scoring 10 unanswered. But before you knew it, it was an Oxnard lead at 22-13 at intermission, 15-10, I beg your pardon, at intermission, after a pair of touchdown passes from Jones.
Cheerleaders holding up the Gonzales Road sign. So they are pumped to win this battle again. And just a huge game from Jaden Jones.
Yes.
We talked about him last week and him being a big playmaker and a great quarterback against Ventura, but it's another thing to do it against this Pacifica team that really hadn't allowed touchdowns all season. And to make it where now it was routine since the midpoint of the second quarter, where you not only expect touchdowns, you're cashing in every time. That's just been so impressive.
Jones touchdown to Fred Vasquez in the first quarter as Harris is dropped in the backfield. It was a 16-yard hookup to make it 10-7, and then right before we hit halftime, it was a hookup with Fonts from 9 yards away to make it 15-10 after 2 quarters of play. And then Oxnard started off this third quarter of action with a 25-yard touchdown pass to Aaron Fonts, making it 22-10. Carranza converted on a 32-yard field goal, and then Pooler with the up-tempo offense for Pacifica made it 22-20, but then that monstrous 90-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by Harris made it 29-20. Maria with a turnover on downs, but Pooler was able to score again, making it 29-27, but then Jones responded with a beautiful 50-yard rushing touchdown to make it 36-27, which is where we stand out now with 1:45 remaining in the ball game. And as you said, it has been all Jones all day today. The transferred from Chaminade. He was originally enrolled at Oxnard his freshman year, then transferred out, but then came back to the place where he grew up. And coming into the season, he said, I've never been scared of pressure. I look forward to helping my team win, and that's what he's done today.
Chaminade, the former home of the Miami Hurricane Brad Kaya, so they've had a lot of history there, producing nice quarterbacks. But it worked out for him coming back to Oxnard, being part of this team, and the Yellowjackets. We knew coming in it would be a hard-fought victory if they get it, but ultimately for Oxnard, they had to make a statement tonight. There is a flag down, but ultimately they've been the better team. Early on, it was advantage Pacifica. There's no doubt about that, but that's why it's a 4-quarter game. It's 48 minutes here in high school football, and the last 35 of those minutes, maybe the last 32 of those minutes, it's been definitively won by the Oxnard Yellowjackets, and the offense has been nearly perfect since the midway point of the second quarter, and the defense has been excellent. Not quite as sharp as the offense, but right there. And even special teams. You add in the Xavier Harris touchdown and them keeping the ball away from the return men on Pacifica like Sherrod and Johnson, that's a way you beat an undefeated rival.
4th down and 6 to go following the Harris run, and there was a flag on the play. With 1:20 remaining in the contest, 36-27 the score, and the time will continue to run as Jones and company will stay in the huddle. And now timeout by the Yellowjackets as the play clock was winding down. They still have one more timeout remaining with 1:11 in the contest. It's a 4th down and 6, but Kent, this is pretty much all said and done. But what a massive win, and we spoke about this coming into the contest, that this game would most likely decide the PVL. And I know there are still upcoming challenges for both of these clubs, but up next for the likes of Oxnard, it's Channel Islands, Rio Mesa, and then Buena. Considering this team's success, I mean, you would imagine that this club has a really, really, really good shot at winning this league in back-to-back years.
Yeah, if they can play with the type of efficiency they have the past couple weeks that we've seen, they'll be in great shape. Even their one loss, there's nothing to be ashamed of losing to Camarillo, and it was a close loss. They definitely held their own in that game. So overall, they can leave every game this season saying, we've been, if not the best team, we've been right there with the best team, and we could have left the victor. And tonight, you'll trade. I know you don't ever want to trade wins and losses, but the loss to Camarillo hurts, but you'd rather win this one. This is a league game. It's against your crosstown rival. The first year, the Pacifica really felt good about them winning this game. And who is the one to give them their first loss? None other than the Gonzales Road rival, the Oxnard Yellowjackets.
Up next for Pacifica, it will be Ventura at home, so just about 3 miles away from where we are at Bud Hauser Field. Jones will line up under center. Play action, Jones on the keeper. He'll cut back inside, breaks off a tackle from Opue, maintains his balance, and he is stopped at the 20-yard line, and that 17-yard scamper will do it as the Oxnard Yellowjackets will prevail. The West wins in the 18th battle for Gonzales Road, 36-27 here on the Ventura Orthopedics Game of the Week. We're 20 doctors with 5 locations in Ventura County, all with one goal in mind, to get you back in the game. Ventura Orthopedics specializes in sports medicine, general orthopedics, pain management, pediatric, and MRI. Ventura Orthopedics offers exceptional therapy services featuring 26 highly skilled physical and occupational therapists. Learn more at VenturaOrtho.com or call to schedule an appointment at 800-698-1280.
Great win, Jaden Jones, a great effort. And this team, offense, defense, special teams, you name it, they made plays and were the better team. And the crowd, they were on point all night. Both sides, Pacifica and Oxnard, both crowds were exceptional. This has just been a great high school football contest between two rivals, two teams, as we said, that can compete for championships, and ultimately a great win by the Yellowjackets.
And the confetti flies, and the Yellowjackets celebrate on Bud Hauser Field as the brass section plays this team off victorious in the 18th battle for Gonzales Road. 36-27 the final score. Yellowjackets over the Tritons here at the Ventura Orthopedics Game of the Week. A very special thank you to our producer, Anthony Placencia, alongside Kent Brown, Cam Molina here with you. Once again, the Ventura Orthopedics Game of the Week here on BC Star, and we will see you all next week.